from 7 to 3. Overindulging, flesh like it's free. We're on a fast ride where monkeys killing time with machines. Making love that we don't even feel. You don't even notice if it's her or it's me. But somewhere deep in it's cutting like a knife, so you just kill it with that one. All of a sudden you are free. You call your mom and say, hey, it's me. I just need some more mommy money. I'm gonna spend it, filling up my house, my face, my body, and my tongue, 'cause I just wanna feel good. Using all that's left, somewhere in your chest, when your sweetheart hit a mist. Uh-oh.
Those who survive know the one more time.
Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in magic? One, two, the things you do in your room when you're all alone. 3, 4, you want mom or whatever cure that was. 5, 6, finding bliss when you're drunk or you're doing drugs. When you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk or you're doing drugs. 7, 8, feeling brave but you never really play this game. 9, 10, feels like heaven, you're crying cause you wanna stay. Quick fix, finding bliss when you feel the heartbeat inside. When you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk. Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in magic? When you're drunk, 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 when you're drunk. Me too, I'm just like you, and I need to fuck it up sometime. I'm stuck with ego trips, selling sex to a mobile bar. Sometimes I feel magic, then I manage to fuck up somehow. Get drunk, get drunk, get drunk, get drunk, and I'm getting high. Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in magic? One, two, the things you do in your room when you're all alone. In your room when you're all alone. 3, 4, you want mom or what if cure that was. Or what if cure that was. 5, 6, finding bliss when you're drunk or you're doing drugs. When you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk, when you're drunk or you're doing drugs. Do you believe in magic? Ibland känner jag magin, men jag lyckas ändå fucka upp. Me too, I'm just like you, and I need to fuck it up sometime. I'm stuck with ego trips, selling sex to a mobile bar. Sometimes I feel magic, then I manage to fuck up somehow. Get drunk, get drunk, get drunk, get drunk. Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in magic? make love in every way. Baby, run away with me. You kill the lonely. You make my eyes unsee all the crazy. You make my heart believe. Oh, baby, run away with me. Don't leave me lonely. You make my eyes unsee all the crazy. You make my heart believe. You make my heart believe. Run away with me. You kill the lonely. You make my eyes unsee all the crazy. You make my heart believe. Baby, run away with me. Don't leave me lonely. You make my eyes unsee all the crazy. You make my heart
Today is the beginning of the end and the start of a new beginning. Time has come to refine yourself and let go of the demons in your head that have held you in captivity for so long. It's time to flip the page and prove them wrong. It's time for rebirth. Yeah, time's up to say goodbye to all the haters, doubters, and non-believers trying to bring you down. In the blink of an eye, you'll realize that there's so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on. Finally, you will feel free to live a life you love living instead of the life you think other people want you to live. Remember, you're the highest authority when it comes to knowing what you want and what you love. So stop trading yourself for the approval from others. Ladies and gentlemen, weirdos and geeks, please repeat after me. I don't give a fuck.
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Whoops, wrong button. What's up, guys? How is everybody tonight? It's going to go down tonight. It's a chill stream. We're just going to hang out, talk some shit, probably have a good time. You know, just normal stuff. Just normal stuff. Nothing big. I promise. I hope not, anyway. It's been a great day. Been a great week, other than being sick for a good chunk of it. But other than that, the week's been great. Had a lot of good stuff go on, whether I was sick or not. And we're just going to shoot the shit tonight, guys. I promise that's what we're going to do. We'll get some people to come up and jump around on stage if they want to. And if not, that's good to, good on them too. I have one more public service announcement. We'll play this probably again because we just have a few people in here right now. But before I get to it, let me welcome in the people who have shown up and shown out and made themselves known. Agrillipus is still here. He was first in the chat tonight, followed by Chairman of the Board, Anson Knowles. He's probably wandered off. He's probably in a field somewhere. K2 Keep on Trucking is in the house. I hadn't heard about the riots in LA until Lindsey Smith said something about it. I can only find a couple of articles, so I'm still not sure what's going on there, but we'll figure it out. Jack Sheridan is in the house. What's up? How good to see you. No topic tonight. It's a chill stream, so that's going to be cool. Obviously, Lindsey Smith is in the house, or was. Gorilla Biscuits made it in. Good to see you, sir. Anarchy Television dropped by to hang out and see what's up, see what's going to go on, so what's going to go down in the house tonight. Right? And that's cool. That is cool. Ryan Lopez dropped in and was talking about a debate that I haven't seen, so I'm very curious. Who was in the debate, what it was about, and who was the moderator. So I can't wait to figure that out. Khalid is here. Khalid, the Trump Elon thing, I got my own opinion on that. We can dive into that a little bit if you want to. K2 Keep on Trucking obviously is in the house. Chuck in Tennessee came in and wished me well, and I really do appreciate that. Everybody hit that like button, by the way. Abe Dinkus came in, which was cool. Good to see him. Missed you last night, Abe. It was a great show, good debates, and it ran so smooth. It was we had a couple of small hiccups, but other than that, it was sweet. And thank you, Agrillipus. I do look and sound 10 times better than Wednesday when I could barely fucking talk, and the medication was tearing me up, man. It was rough. It was very rough. So I am much better. But now it's time for the standard issue service announcement. This is a public service announcement because during the course of the show, especially during a chill stream, people may say things, or we may put up images, we may play videos that might cause you to want to make a statement, to act out, to make your voice heard. And if that is the case, I encourage you to do so. But if all you want to do is sit, whine, cry, and act like a Nancy, there's rather than bench and moan, why don't you just...
Everyone does it. Now you can do it too. Shut the fuck up. Shut your mouth. Shut up. Shut the hole in your face. Like that. You can do it. Shh. Shut up. And shut the fuck up.
That's right. Yeah. What's up, Raging Patriot 1777-6? Good to see you, brother. Good. Silvar Ogre. That's right. I is the chill stream, so I won't get Saturday night fever. I've already had enough fever for 1 week. Hey, Sarah the Raging Tomatoes in. Let me get you a link so you can come up and chat because that would be cool. Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it, guys? Wouldn't it be cool? You guys not think that the tomato is cool? So we'll do that. Let me let me roll over here to the Discord. No, you're cool. You're very cool. Trump administration, yeah, sent to National Guard to Los Angeles. I've been out all day, so I haven't seen any of this. So apparently, they're mad because the immigration raids. Whoops. All right. While Sarah makes her way onto the show, how is everyone tonight, guys? This is it's been a hell of a week. It's been a hell of a week for me, anyway, and I'm so glad last night went smooth because I was really concerned. And we got a lot of stuff going on. I have a lot of stuff going on all the time anyway, but it's getting worse ish, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I'd really like to know who debated and whatever happened. That would. Are you still here, Ryan Lopez? Is it Ryan Lopez? What was his name? Yeah, Ryan Lopez, are you still in the house? Let me know what's up with that debate. You made you made a question about it, like I would know. The problem is that a lot of debates happen that I don't get to hear about because I'm so busy with my own stuff, and it sounds really self-censored, but I self-centered. But I just don't have time. It was Jim Bob and Egotist. I'm not sure. I don't know who Egotist is. They just finished. Did someone rage quit? Oh, was this on Modern Day Debate? What's up, Angry Beaver, by the way? Good to see you. You missed out last night, brother. It was a great set of debates last night. It was awesome. We had Gibbs on here, which is hilarious. I think that's the first time he's debated on my show. Some girl mod who is absolute trash. Was it on Modern Day Debate? Interesting. Oh, well. Yeah, I can't keep up with all the debates. I actually need to get into a debate. I haven't debated in a couple of weeks. I'm feeling that angst. Okay, grab your coffee. Jibber jabber. I get jibber jabber. I understand it. My son's been jibber jabbering about his learner's permit for the past few hours, so I totally understand jibber jabber. You know what I'm saying? Tell me all about it, Sarah. It'd be cool. It'll be cool. By the way, guys, it is a chill stream, so at some point we'll let people come up. We'll get a small panel going, and we'll have some fun tonight. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. And then of course tomorrow I won't be doing anything, and then Monday I'll be back during the normal show schedule, I believe. Welcome, Leah. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. My glasses are dirty. My 4-year-old loves to grab my glasses with his very greasy little paws. And he's almost 5 now. He really enjoys that. He absolutely enjoys grabbing glasses, whatever. He doesn't care. He's hilarious. So there we go. Look at that. I can see. Jim Bob versus Michael Leibowitz on his channel. Girl is unknown. You know what, Leah? I missed it when my oldest son got older, and it became it's awesome to have another little guy around. How are you, Sarah?
Hello. And we actually just got home, like just walked in the door 10 minutes ago. So
Nice.
we had a long day with her. She had Bratty Tomato had a little sports college showcase thing that she was invited to. So it's been a very long day and I got lots of sun doing it. So all
It
good.
sounds like
But
your mic is peaking or something.
I'm on my earbud. Maybe I'll switch
It might be
to
like the auto
I don't know the settings. I'm on my
cancellation or
phone,
something.
audio settings. Maybe if I turn
So,
auto cancellation, does that help?
oh yeah,
Maybe. Yeah.
yeah. I think it was just like it was like you're hitting a limit or something.
Oh,
So
weird. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so Jim Bob just debated the Michael, I think it's Leibowitz or Leibowitz, I
Yeah,
don't know.
Leibowitz, something like that. Yeah.
Leibowitz. And he had already had a debate with Jim Bob over on my channel recently. And um basically Jim Bob had to come in with the kid gloves because Michael made such a big deal prior to their debate because Jim Bob was being mean to him on X. And he like messaged me before their first debate and he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like Jim Bob's like being mean to me, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay. And then he comes back, he's like, never mind, I'm gonna do it. And I said, look, like before you commit to this, like this is blood sport debate. This is what we do. You know, like Jim Bob can probably get through this without being mean to you, but it's part of the package. Like you do
Yeah.
know, like this is how we operate, you know, like this is the entertainment factor. This is not we're not in a university doing some formal debates behind a podium with blazers and ties and so he agreed to push forward and whatever. They did the debate. Actually Jim Bob, I was very impressed because Jim Bob was very polite, very well mannered, very like let him talk. He didn't call him all sorts of bagel names and stuff like that like he normally would do. And
Okay.
then huh
I said okay. Yeah.
Oh, and the debate went fine, and then of course we went into open panel, and then Michael all of a suddenly, oh, I gotta go, I gotta go. Um, but that was fine. And then
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, like the other day, I got tagged on X by Michael. I guess he had reviewed a debate that he did with Andrew like months ago and started spurging about it on X. And Andrew came in and like went back and forth on it and then was like, okay, well, you're not gonna answer my question. Have a good day. And then Michael tagged me and Jim Bob and said, like, I don't know, was like basically trying to ask us like to call Andrew out for like leaving the conversation. And we're like, no. But all of that
Hmm.
led to debate number 2 with Jim Bob and Michael. And of course, Michael doesn't want me to mod this now because, of course, I was mean to him on X at that point because I was like, did you really just throw punches and then ask a girl to come like fight on your behalf? Like, what? Like, why would you do that? But this debate was horrible. It was terrible. It was a terrible format. It was like 7-minute back and forth, no open dialogue. And then they weren't even going to read the super chats until Jim Bob kind of like pleaded. He was like, look, like these people send money like on purpose. And he was dual streaming, of course, so he couldn't like take over the stream from there.
Yeah.
And then even they weren't even like reading all of the super chats. The mod that they had, if somebody even said something that was remotely somewhat mean, or if she didn't like it, she's like, I'm not reading that. It was terrible. $100 super chat came in and she's like, I'm not reading that.
Wow.
And it was like, dude, like you can't have feelings involved when especially if you're going to moderate or host, like you
Yeah.
can't have those kind of feelings.
That's
I mean, I understand if it breaks TOS or sometimes I mean, even sometimes I'll kind of read around a super chat. Like I'm like, I'm not going to say that word, but yeah, we know what you mean,
yeah.
but you still have to acknowledge. I think there are some certain times where it's like you have to just say no. I can't read that, and I'm not going to show it on screen. But thank you, right?
Sure. Yeah.
They're
Absolutely.
yeah, but to completely not read them because she's like they have cuss words or I don't like what they said, and it was just like, bro, this is lame. Especially $100 super chat that really pissed me off. Like, it was,
Yeah.
what, Jason Cassell, and Jason Cassell's a really big, supporter of a lot of Crucible Crew people, and, I don't think this girl really understands the concept of, uh because I guess Michael wasn't monetized, and so I don't think they understand, like, when people send money, like, you read it, you
Yeah.
don't put your I mean, I think there is some type of selectivity you can apply, but not to that degree where she was just only reading every other super chat. That was gay.
That's pretty terrible. So who is this Michael guy? What's his story? What does he do?
He spent like 25 years in prison
Okay.
or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
I know he was in prison. He wrote a book, and now he thinks he's God's great gift to Earth because he
Because
is
he went to
better.
prison.
He's reformed, and it's
Mm,
like, well, most people don't start at the bottom like that. Like most people start on the
mm,
normal level of um, you know, morality and ethics. But he's an objectivist.
yeah.
So in all of his arguments were just I felt like this was like child's play for Jim Bob in terms of the argument. So it was an easy win, but it was just boring to watch.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
good TV.
It was not. It was terrible. I think the chat was I think all of us were only there to watch on Jim Bob's stream just to support Jim Bob.
Well, sometimes the chat's the actual show, and and the
Mhm.
show is
Yeah.
just two people up there kind of fucking off. But yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's interesting because I hadn't. I mean, um, I obviously I've been very busy lately, and I just haven't paid any attention. I mean, it's going to sound like a big asshole of myself, but I just haven't had time. Like I can't. I haven't been able to watch any of Andrew's debates lately, other than every now and again I'll catch like 20 minutes of one,
Mhm.
and then I haven't really been able to catch a lot. I'm able to pop on your show because you happen to be on after me. So a lot of times I'm ending and you're just like you're either kind of at your midpoint or
Right.
whatever. And so
That makes sense.
I can jump on and have some fun before I go to bed or whatever. But it's been rough lately. So I need to but I actually need to get in. I was expecting to not be sick this week. So I didn't make any plans to do any debates, but which was good because I didn't have to cancel anything. But now I'm like I waiting to see if the referee is going to invite me to debate. I'm hoping they debate me on, or I'm hoping they ask me to come on about the Trump versus Elon thing. I think that'll be tight.
Ooh, what do you
Yeah, that's
think
gonna be.
about that right now?
Yeah, yeah. I'll get into that in a second. I promise.
Oh, oh, oh,
I
oh.
think that's going to be the tits, and then I think I've got and actually I think we're going to talk about that on Gibbs stream on Thursday afternoon because he does that 5:30 show or whatever, and so I'm going to do that Thursday,
Mhm.
and then and my debate show's been going really well. Like
Good.
it's been really good.
Good.
The format kind of throws some people for the first time, but once they do it, they're like, I love it. Your boy Vibe was on last night and he couldn't get enough.
Aw.
He was like,
I
this is
like
great.
Vibe. I like Vibe. I remember when he first messaged me like, "Hey, how do I get on one of the panels?" And I'm like, "You got to start somewhere, hit the open panels, you know."
Yeah.
And I'm really glad because he has been coming back night after night. And I think he's actually getting more confident each night he comes back, and I'm really happy to see him coming out of his shell, and I think that he is due for a moderator Monday, a 2v2 at some point. I just need
Mm.
to, maybe humdrum up a prompt.
Oh, Sarah, the 2v2, almost forgot.
What?
So I hate it, but so Fatty and Teriak
Hmm.
were terrible last week. And I
Oh
couldn't
my
believe it.
God.
So I dislike Soy Pill so much. So much. And I'm sitting there having to go, he's the only one making a cogent argument. Like of everybody running their mouths right now, Soy Pill, the guy who I 100% disagree with, is making the only actual fucking argument. And I'm like, dudes, what are you doing? And
Yeah.
it was
It was definitely really, it was a hard topic to be willing to pull because even Soy Pill was a little hesitant on taking that stance, only
yeah,
because he was like, well, I can make the argument, but I'm not sure if I bleed for it, you know.
right. And he said
But
that. He did say that.
yeah, so for not even having his heart 100% into it,
Yeah.
he did really good to making the argument, you know.
Well, he was making cogent arguments. Like he actually like I didn't agree with what he was saying. I think he was wrong. I think he knew he was wrong, but at least he was putting words together in a format that made common damn sense and people could
Mhm.
follow. Fatty and Teriak were just sitting there repeating the same thing over and over and over again, and I'm like, this is not a debate. This is not how you argue. This isn't. What in the world is going on here? Like,
Mhm.
is the world flipped to where like the crazy people like Soy Pill are making sense, and Fatty and Teriak are just over there sounding like they're off their rockers, man. I felt bad. I felt bad. I felt
They
bad for you. I didn't feel bad for you because it's good TV and you know
yeah.
that helps you out.
Yeah.
So
They still bring well, did you hear Kariak's debate with Millennial Mike
no,
on marriage is the only way we're gonna fix the birth rate?
no, I have to be honest with you. Can I be honest with you for a second, Sarah? And
No.
this has nothing
Lie to
against you.
me. Lie to me,
I would
girly.
love to lie to you, but unfortunately, it's just not going to happen.
Well, I think you were on vacation that week anyways, actually.
Yeah, my problem with I Teriak used to debate like a debater, and like he would have points. He would have argument, counter argument, and it seemed like he was doing really well. At some point, he got to where he just basically strawmans your argument, yells at you, and then strawmans your argument again. And
Mhm.
and for me, I can't even watch it. Which is I like Teriak and I can talk to him for hours. The dude is just funny. He's like a really cool guy, but I can't watch him debate.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he used to come in really heavy, like and really good too in the beginning as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then like with Millennial Mike, it was like he was trolling him the whole time because Mike came in fully prepared with
Mhm.
opening statements and everything like ready to rock and roll. And why marriage is important for the birth rate and yada yada. And he like backed it up and so on and so forth. Yada. I mean, it's really good. And
Mhm.
then Teriak comes in with his opening statement saying something about, well, we should appeal to uh Aphrodite, who like they used to worship her, and if we worshipped her, then we would basically be able to take the OnlyFans girls and turn them into baby makers because men would pay for these women to have their babies. And I could make a baby brothel where you come in and pick the girl you want to make a baby. It was like all over the place. And I got onto him for it because I was like, "You are trolling this whole debate." And he's like, "No, no, no, it's my counter argument." I'm like, "No, it's not. I could make the argument for you." And I even offered him about midway, I offered some other arguments about why it's not just marriage that will fix the birth rate, like why there's other things, or why it's not the only, like I gave him all of these possibilities he could use, and then he still just, it was like he just kept trolling it. And I was so upset because I'm like, I felt bad for Millennial Mike. He came in really waiting to have or expecting to have an actual debate,
Yeah.
especially where this stemmed from. They had a completely different conversation during, I think it was the OnlyFans um, open panel, and that's how they had gotten into this conversation of like, oh, I'll debate you on that, right?
Yeah.
And so it like stemmed from like a good faith, like, yeah, I could handle that, let's do it. And then Teriak just came in and trolled it. And I even told him before we got started, I said, you're not allowed to claim the retard argument anymore, because he tried that with Melanie, saying like, well, I'm just going to start off and tell you all I'm retarded, so I don't have to make good arguments, it doesn't matter. And I told Teriak, I'm like, you cannot do that this round. And then he came in and trolled anyways, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I've been, like I said, I was just like, I can't believe. And you know what's even worse is I like a really good debate where I can, even if I disagree with somebody, I go, hey, that's a good argument, right? Like
mhm.
that's good. Um, and I really want people to be intellectually honest enough to say, I absolutely disagree with everything this person is saying, but it's a damn good argument.
Right.
And it was funny because I said in chat, I'm like, I can't believe that Soy Pill is the only one making a good argument here, or something like that. And somebody's
Mhm.
like, oh, he's not. Fatty is winning. And I'm like, are you nuts? Like, we watching the same debate, bro? Like,
Right.
because he's not winning this. Like, there's no. And
It was more logically sound, right? And that's
yeah,
what I have an appreciation for, is if you can make something that's more logically sound. It doesn't have to be right, but if it's logically sound, then okay, well, you're
well, you
not
can.
wrong there, right?
Yeah, see, and I taught you so. I don't know if you know Admiral Gibbs. Gibbs is hilarious. He's been around a long time, and he was on last night. Gibbs has this way of using rhetoric that's over the top, but he uses it exceedingly well, and he doesn't. It's not that he doesn't need to make an argument. It's just that he's making it using rhetoric almost exclusively,
Hmm.
and therefore you have to really fight against him because you're going to have to pull him back down to earth and say, hey, no, address this point, address this point, address that point, and then he'll address them, but he'll address them using rhetoric, and that's what I think a lot of these guys are trying to do, unless you're someone like Gibbs that just has that just really good like flow or that ability to spin that rhetoric. Destiny's
Hmm.
like one of the best at it. Destiny, a lot of times he's wrong, or or he doesn't even address the point. He's literally, it's just all rhetoric, and he's very good at controlling the rhetoric.
Hmm.
And I think that's what you know. to some degree Fatty and Teriak are trying to do, but they're just not. They're not as
It's
skilled.
not holding. It's not
It doesn't
holding.
hold. Yeah, it doesn't hold.
Yeah.
And anyway, but yeah. So I've caught a few now, and the thing with um, Lumberjack the other night, it was very interesting how. And this has to drive you crazy because it was driving me fucking nuts. The guy is sitting there trying to talk about the Section 8 housing and how the programs work and all that, and people are talking about like everything but. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And then that was just really funny. So,
Yeah, and then even Duck came on right there in the beginning at the
oh
open
man,
panel, and I was like, Duck, like this, just I know that we've been on a lot of political kicks lately because it's just there's a lot of hot political topics right now, especially everything
yeah,
to do with Trump. So I get it why Duck was
mhm,
expecting that, but okay, that's not what we're talking about. And this is my guest, and this is what he
mhm,
wants to talk about. You have to
yeah,
roll with that, and of course, things moved a little differently later, and they got into the bigger political talking points, which I expected would eventually happen as it did. But to just come in and be like, why are you talking about this? Like, I
yeah.
was expecting something else. It's like, well, go away then. I mean,
Well, it's Duck. When he's on my show so it was really weird last night. Like he was on and he debated a couple of times. He actually does. It's weird. He can be so calm and make good points and make cogent arguments. And then he's just it just like if the switch flips and it's completely different.
Um, I think it depends on the atmosphere because I think he expects or no, I think he thinks that I expect him to be crazy and yelly and blood like the blood
Mm,
sport aspect,
mm,
which it's fine when things are getting heated and there's back and forth.
yeah.
But sometimes he can't read the room and understand like that's not where we're at, like read the room.
Hmm.
Um, or even with his talking points, I think he just has a really hard time relaying like his first sentence will start off really in a talk like a good point, it's going
Hmm.
somewhere, and then the like sentence number 2 3 through 10, and it's like, wait, where are we now? Like you completely lost me. And I
He does
think
that in
that
debates too.
yeah, and I think he would do better if he just drilled it one sentence at a time
Hmm.
and then allowed the back and forth conversation to happen, and then we would actually get to the crux of what he means
Yeah.
versus trying to just spit out a bunch of sentences, because I think he gets lost in trying to make it more
Oh
philosophical
yeah.
than it needs to be.
Absolutely.
Like completely just lost in the sauce. It's like it's not everything has to be that deep. It's
Hmm.
okay. We can have the surface level conversation and then let it steer its way, into the deeper context.
Yeah, I mean that's actually one of the first things I told him when he came on my show and he came up on this stage. I'm like, hey man, because he started making like some really weird, esoteric, like high brow argument, and I'm like, look, man,
Hmm.
here's the thing, nobody cares.
Right.
This is like dumb it way down because
Right.
no, because I'm not. While I there are channels where you can have these like massive esoteric, very like, 1,000-mile viewpoint kind of discussions. Yeah, don't care.
Right.
Don't care here. So,
Well,
but
you
he's,
also have to consider the audience too.
mhm,
And when you kind of get lost in the sauce a little too deep, you lose
mhm,
the audience.
mhm,
And now if this was Jay Dyer's stream, for instance, Jay talks like that all the time. He's very high
mhm.
level in his conversation, so it makes more sense that something
Sure.
like that would be there. But on the Raging Tomato, like we're more in like we're half entertainment and half conversation. And when
Right.
you start trying to go too high level too fast, like you lose the audience very, very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, he's been relatively cool. Every time he's been on the show, he really, he kind of annoyed, and I need to talk to him about it because he was in the chat, kind of, just making weird, possibly snide comments. I gotta figure that out, but man, it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, the interesting thing about your show is I don't think that your chat's figured out that if they kick me, I'm gonna buy the panel.
To the panel, or I'm sorry, to the chat, continue kicking Grid off of my panels. Every time Grid pops on, somebody just send $5. It's a greater investment than you can
The
imagine.
ROI is high.
Please continue to do so. I greatly appreciate it, and I have no issue with
Yeah,
giving Grid his 10 to 15 minutes by himself. With your $5 donations to boot him to the
it was
back.
it was very funny um, the first couple of times, and it still is. But most of the time, I don't care. I'm like, yeah, I was going to leave anyways. So thanks for paying Sarah. But yeah, every now and again, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, Duck's okay though.
He's not a bad guy. I think he's just whirlwinded in the world of YouTube. And I think it's getting to the point of toxicity for him. Like, he ended
Mm,
up leaving my Discord, and I'm not sure why. I just realized the other
mm,
day that his name showed up as a different color, and that
mm.
only means that they left. Um, but like, I think if he spent, I don't know, I think he needs to kind of not be, I don't know, not take it so seriously. There's people there's people there that just take it too seriously.
Mhm. Yeah,
And when you do that, then that's when it becomes toxic. When you recognize that this is all for fun, we're all here enjoying our time on the panel and in the chat, and it's entertaining, and yada yada yada, blah blah blah. And like, if your argument sucks, or if nobody gives a shit what you have to say or whatever, like, it's okay. You could still come back tomorrow and have fun and laugh about it.
yeah,
And that's what we're all gonna do. We're just here to have fun. And obviously, we, like, some of us operate in a more business orientation, but like, at the end of the day, it's still fun and games.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of characters out there. Some new ones are very interesting. But
Yeah, I love getting like the new panelists in, and kind of interacting and seeing, I don't know, I feel like every week we get new people, and it gets really fun that way.
yeah,
And it just solidifies my thought process that the internet is weird.
oh, the
um
internet's super weird.
hmm
Yeah.
but
So
yeah.
let's
Mhm.
talk about the Trump Elon deal. Where do you
Daddies are
stand on it
fighting.
now? Yeah, where do you stand on it now?
Well, in my mind, it's just based on what I've seen on X, like the Elon's responses and stuff he's saying, like, with like, oh, well, by the way, Trump was in the Epstein thing. That's
Mhm.
why it hasn't been. To me, Elon's just throwing a temper tantrum right now.
Mm,
And I think Trump's doing what he always does, where he's a businessman. Like,
mhm,
sometimes you're gonna benefit from his thought process, and sometimes you're not. And if you take it personally, he'll call you out for it.
mhm.
And I think Elon's just taking it personally, and is upset he's not getting his way.
Yeah. Hey, that's solid. I like that. And I'm going to add just a little bit. So what I
Mhm.
think is, I think that I think on Elon's side, he had everything to lose, right?
Mhm.
He and he has. He's probably lost $1 billion, from his net worth. Um, his business, the stock of Tesla went down quite a bit. All of the various reasons for that. And he made a 135-day commitment to come in and do a job. And he was really, and he agreed to do it because he was really passionate about it. He thinks it needs to be done and all of that. But then I don't think he feels like they're taking him seriously anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
because Trump has not really executed any of the things that Doge said, hey, this needs to be done. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
Doge sunsets in 28, I think. So there's a sunset when Doge goes away. So
Right.
and so I think I don't want to use the word betrayed, but I feel like Elon feels like he lived up to his end of the deal, and the government hasn't lived up to their end of the deal, and so that kind of irked him. That kind of that's a kind of professional slap in the face, and
So, right,
then
but the Doge is only there to make recommendations, right? And to
right,
find,
right,
whether they implement or cut or do whatever,
mhm,
that's up to, that's up to those people who can cut it to do
right,
so, right? So I don't think Elon is necessary. Maybe he feels betrayed, but if you really look at it, Grid. If you hired me and you said, Sarah, I want you to come and give me advice on my YouTube show.
mhm,
I want you to watch every episode for the last 3 months. Give me your thoughts and what you think and your recommendations. Blah 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 and whatever. And I say, oh, okay, cool. And you pay
mhm,
me $100 to do this, right? And I go and I watch all of your shows for the last 3 months, and then I write you a whole summary of what my recommendations are, and you read it, and you're like, okay, cool, thanks. And then you change absolutely nothing about your show. Like,
yeah,
I can't be mad at that, right? You hired me to do the
yeah,
job as to find what I, would advise or recommend. Stop,
yeah.
Vicky, stop. Sorry, she's like, they've been missing me all day.
Well,
So I'm trying to sit here and pet them, but like rubbing her ears is apparently not enough. She needs
no,
more. But and that's what's going on right now with Elon and Trump.
sure.
Like, Elon was hired to do a job. I want
Mhm.
you to come in, find this, and tell me what you recommend. And then he said all of the recommendations, did his portion, and then Trump says, okay, thanks. And now
Right.
Elon is expecting all of those things to happen. And if they don't, or if they're not, then he's like, why are you not taking my recommendations? Why are you not doing this? Why? And,
Yeah.
and I know he's mad about the big, beautiful bill
Yeah,
thing.
he's mad about the
Um,
additional spending. He feels like
mhm.
that's kind of I hate to say stab in the back, but it's kind of a poke, right? Kind of, it's goes counter to what they had talked about, and I think I think he's kind of tired of everybody talking trash about him, so he's lashing out, and I think Trump is kind of the target there, which is fine, and
Mhm.
and I also think that because of this, I think he's kind of trolling Trump, and um,
I don't know. I don't think it's a
I think he's
troll.
kind of trolling, and I
I
think
think he's truly mad, and he's being a little bitch about it and putting his feelings out. Dear public diary, you know what I mean? And that's
yeah,
what I mean. Grid, we see this all the time with content creators on the internet when they get mad. Well, that was a bad faith debate. Moderators suck. This
yeah,
happened, that happened. Blah blah blah. Like, we see this literally every day in our
sure,
space. Like, we can pinpoint exactly at what point Elon became a little bitch and put his feelings out on the internet.
yeah. See, that's okay. I can go with that. I think that I don't know that he's that much up in his feels, but I do think that his tism is tisming very hard,
Hmm.
and he you know, for better or worse, he is who he is. I mean, he's literally and people have said, they don't think it's They think I'm wrong about this, and they think that he's just like out to get Trump now or whatever. And I'm like, nah. If he was, I mean, remember, this is the guy who literally told the CEO of Disney live to go fuck himself, and then to make sure that his point was made, he disabled all Disney products from being able to be uploaded in Teslas. Right. So, I mean, this is not somebody that just does that kind of shit. Right. Like,
Right.
so I think like the Epstein thing is a troll. Right. But I think it's a troll that, and I don't want to give, because I don't know that Elon is smart in this way, but whether he intends for it to do it or not, what it's going to do, and it's already doing, is it's going to have the left, who have been screaming to hide the Epstein papers. Nobody needs to see that. It's just keep that redacted. Nobody cares. Now it's got all of them screaming, got to see the Epstein papers. Got to see that file. Got to see the whole thing.
You mean like another distraction?
Well, it is a distraction for sure, but it's like by throwing that out, that Trump's name is in the papers, he has instead of the right saying we want to see the Epstein papers and being, and the left like stonewalling that, now it's on the other foot. The left are calling right now for a release of all of the Epstein information. Right.
Weren't they the ones that were blocking it from being
yes,
released before?
and again, I think
So do you think this is a fun ploy? Like a tactic?
I don't know that it's an intentional ploy, but I think it's a troll. I think that Elon was sitting around and he said, "Hey, you know what would be cool? If I say that Trump's name is on there, because we all know that Trump's name can't be on there because he was investigated so thoroughly. They literally they figured out everywhere he was. There was no way he could have ever been on a flight or anything like that. They literally have tried to put him on a plane or anywhere near Epstein, and they just couldn't do it. They got like one instance where they were even in the same room." And so we know that Trump's name is not on it, but the left will never believe that, and they never have.
Right.
And so now, by Elon saying this, and he's
credibility
smart enough,
to the
he's smart enough to know that they don't buy it. So it doesn't hurt Trump if the papers actually come through, but it makes the left salivate to get it done, which is what the right has been wanting the whole time. I don't know. And they are legitimately calling for it right now. They're like,
maybe, I mean, I don't know. The government works in mysterious ways. I'm a big believer in that. I mean, just like
I don't think this is like 3D chess or anything. I just think it's I don't think it's that. I honestly think
I could write a script of how to get the left to want to release the Epstein files, that would be how
right. But I don't think. See, this is the thing. I don't think
it was an accidental miracle.
I don't think that Elon is this bright in this way. He doesn't. I don't think his brain works in this way. I don't think his brain works in this way. But what I do think is, that he was sitting around on his couch and he's pissed, and he's already talked shit about Trump a little bit and about the bill. He's criticized the bill and everything, and Trump's come back with, well, he's on ketamine and whatever, and whatever the two have gone back and forth, and he's sitting there with his phone in his hand, and he's like, motherfucker, what is? Oh, I got you now, and he goes Epstein.
Right.
And
well, whether it was true or not, right? I mean, it's still, I don't know. I mean, I still think that he's I still think that he's throwing a temper tantrum.
Sure, absolutely.
and throwing shit at the mud and seeing what sticks,
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
basically what you're seeing is 2 billionaires doing billionaire shit.
Yeah, because they can, right?
Right? Because they can.
Mhm. I mean, I think I also think that Elon maybe felt that because he was brought into the political arena, that somehow his voice now matters, and he has a like
Mhm.
it's like I don't know if I don't know, like if you and I did a show together,
Sure.
right? And then somehow after that, I believe that everything that uh grid does going forward, I somehow have some form of I'm allowed to have a strong opinion on it, and grid would consider my opinion very important,
Mhm.
because we did a show together, guys. Like, come
Mhm.
on, right? When not recognizing that business is just business, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And coincidentally, people do act like that sometimes,
Oh, yeah.
um, but I think that maybe I almost just said Epstein. Elon maybe feels like he had a seat at the table at one point and believes that that seat is solidified, and it's like, no, 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 no. Like that was, like that's at like Thanksgiving dinner. If you can sit at the adult table for 5 seconds and then somehow think that you get to sit at the adult table forever, and
Yeah.
Trump is telling Elon to go back to the kid table.
Well, all right, so that's a good line of thought. So, I liken it more to, like, so I'm sure you've had friends that you do just, like, almost everything with, and then you kinda get into that it's expected that you're just gonna do everything,
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden, your friend's like, "Yeah, I got this job over here," and the other friend's like, "Hey, well, get me an application. I'll no, it's kind of my thing, It's like,
Right.
it's like, keep it
Right.
private, whatever."
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That would. Yeah. I would agree with that.
yeah,
Um. But yeah, I think Elon's kind of being humbled right now. I think Trump is doing a very good job at humbling him. Um. And Elon's not taking it very well.
yeah. I gotta say, Clover Tag being a little dry humor here. Irony is so thick. The left would never throw one of their patron saints under the bus to get Trump like that. Never.
No,
No.
never.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
I think that they may actually, um, I mean, this, I mean, the outcome of this, I think. So the other thing is that with Elon coming out and saying that he hates this bill, it's so bad, he has more chance of people voting for it that probably wouldn't have voted for it to begin with because,
Really?
yeah, because if Elon hates it, I mean, God, it must be good. So
So what do you think's gonna happen between the two of them? Do you think Elon's eventually gonna just go back to his own little corner, or
I think I
uh
mean, he's already kind of, I didn't read all of the text, but I was informed that he's already kind of like, whatever, who cares?
yeah.
And that jives with what I've seen out of Elon year after year. It's just like he gets like really wound up about something, and then he's all into it, and then whatever. I'll move on to the next thing.
Hmm.
And
I mean,
there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, I feel like he'll still prevail going
Mhm.
forward, right? He'll be fine. I think he just thought, like, I thought we were friends, bro. I thought we were friends,
I thought we were
you know.
buds, man. We were lifelong pals. You know?
Yeah, and I think he just got humbled and learning that business is just business, you
Yeah,
know. And that's the one thing that I mean, gosh, just working on YouTube, you learn that really quick. Like it's just
yeah.
business, bro. Like it's
And
okay.
I think that also I think he probably sat down and thought about, I mean, there's a lot of things that benefits Elon if all of this stuff goes through the way it is. I mean, you look at they're talking about SpaceX becoming the de facto national space organization because they're doing such a better job of it than NASA.
Mm-hmm.
So and we don't know what that would look like, but that would mean a ton of money for not just Elon, but for everybody involved in SpaceX and all of the sub industries that support SpaceX. And he's not gonna risk that.
Mm-hmm.
The I
I
actually know
thought
some
he said
people.
he was pulling something from SpaceX because he got another heated moment. He's like, I called off the something something at SpaceX, blah blah blah
I
today.
mean, he might have. I know that there was some like um, administration and executive stuff going on that I'm not really sure what happened, but it seemed like that Elon and the top like
Yeah, Dragon
Elon's.
Rocket. That's what it is. He called it off. I don't know
Yeah, yeah.
what it is, but he was like, I'm calling and having it like basically dismantled or so I don't know
Mhm.
something.
Yeah. There's kind of it's not really a power struggle, but it's a leadership struggle with SpaceX right now, I think. So yeah.
Yeah. I I don't know. I think Elon should just stick to what he knows best and get back to his own shit and
Yeah, I agree.
you know,
And I think it's time for him to do that. I think it was the right time when he was involved, and it was the right time when he was involved, and it's the right time for him to get out. So
right.
yeah.
Well, and that's just recognizing your role. Like, just know your role and shut your mouth, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, even I know that. Sometimes it's just like, that's not my job. I got to back away, you know?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I obviously thrive on putting my nose in other people's business and putting it on the screen, right?
yeah.
Um,
Well,
like
you're
finding
small and you go
debates.
unnoticed, so you can get away. You can get away
Well,
with
what I
it.
mean is like that's how I, find debates is by seeing arguments or seeing people say something. I'm like, hey, so you guys want to put this on the screen, or if so, I'm happy to, So I make it my job to find the quarrels online and bring it
Mhm.
on screen. But I also know my role, right? Like I don't get involved in the quarrels, and I stay out of the bullshittery of it. Um,
Yeah,
so I think that's just and I think that that's what Elon needs to do, like know your role and shut your mouth, like get back to what you do. Stop trying to stop trying to put your nose in other stuff where it
yeah.
doesn't belong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I find it's I don't see it as this big thing. And honestly, I felt like it was mostly a distraction from the things that we should be looking at. Which is all I think the Epstein file is good for now. It's just a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Hi, kissy cat.
Kissy Cat Gibbs won last night. Admiral Gibbs won last night, which was
I
hilarious. It was
love kissy
hilarious.
cat. I love it when kissy cat like randomly jumps on panel. Like right now would be a great time for
It
kissy
would
cat to
be.
jump on panel.
It would be.
Just saying, with her little sweet little voice, and she's so polite. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. She should actually jump right on panel.
She
So,
should. So how was your vacation? I didn't really get to bug you too much about it.
my vacation was really good. I'm going to bring Jake Varr on, so he'll be here.
Hi
Um,
Jake.
What's up, Sarah? Actually,
oh,
I already heard about
Sarah.
his. Okay, fine, fine. Sarah.
Sarah. Say it
Hello,
with me.
Sarah. By the way, I did hear about. Good to see you, Sarah. I did hear about Grid One's vacation. It was not very well, by the way.
the
Not very
vacation
good.
itself was great. The vacation itself was great. But once I got so I'll tell you about it, Sarah. So we flew from Nashville to Vancouver, which is a very long flight, by the way.
Hmm.
Um, and we spent the night in Vancouver. Vancouver was cool. Got to see some stuff. Wandered around a bit. My wife went to a couple of antique shops, but fortunately, you know, couldn't buy anything large, so that was awesome. And
You
then
can always ship it back.
yeah,
Come on
no,
now.
no. So then we went. We got on the boat the next day, and the boat was so it was basically the exact same boat that as the last Caribbean cruise we took. It was a
Mhm.
different cruise line, but it's almost. I mean, it is the exact same layout. Everything was exactly the same. I mean, interior treatments obviously weren't, but and
Do you always get the VIP package, Grid? You get the
I think you
room
so we
should.
rooms?
have in the past, but this time, so this was a bone of contention. The reason that
Ooh.
we took this trip in the first place was because some of my wife's friends had found this promotion to do the Alaskan cruise during there's Kissy Cat. So some of my wife's friends had actually decided to do this cruise as part of a promotion, and so I didn't really have anything to do with setting this up,
Oh.
and my wife trusted her friend a lot, which was a huge mistake.
So she got you sick, Grid. She got you sick.
It's all her
And
fault. Fuck that bitch.
and so we get on the boat, and instead of having my assumption is that we were going to have a suite, which we normally get, a suite or whatever they call it. I don't know what mini suite. I don't know what they call it on board the boat, but we normally get a suite because it's my wife and I, and then my son. When he was little, he would just crash on the little sofa couch thing.
Uh-huh.
And then this time I thought, since we had the two boys with us, or we were supposed to anyway, they would have their own stateroom and we would have our suite.
Ooh. Bow, 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 bow.
And yeah, right.
She knows what's
And
going on.
so what ended up happening is it somehow, I'm not really sure. I don't know how this happens, but we ended up in an inboard stateroom. So that means there's no balcony,
No windows.
no window, no nothing.
Ew. Ew.
And
Who does that?
I don't know. Not me ever again.
Poor people.
Yeah, Grid.
poor people.
That's why you need to pay a little bit extra to get the VIP treatment, Grid. I know
Yeah,
you can
and I was
afford it.
like, and I was actually wondering. I was like, how did this even happen? And so my wife was like, I don't know. I put down that we're bringing 4 people, and whatever they, I just went with whatever they sent me back. I'm like, oh, next time let me look at that.
Yeah.
So
Probably best.
Grid, you were
it
living
ended
like us common folk.
Sorry,
The common folk.
You were living like us common folk.
I was actually. I was really angry too, and
Down with Gen Pop. Unacceptable.
I'll tell you this, Grid. As a single man, I would have been just happy with it because it's cheaper. But Grid, you're a family guy. You make money. You're good with that. You should have just paid more for the VIP treatment.
I tried so hard to get an upgrade. I was like, I don't care. I need an upgrade to a suite. There was none. They're like, no, we're fully booked. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
Claim
everybody
handicap.
made it?
Claim handicap. You get a handicap room.
Oh, a handicap room. Oh yeah, I could
Yeah,
have.
go in
Bigger
with
bathroom.
crutches. Go in with
Yeah.
crutches.
Yeah.
I ended up getting an upgrade on a cruise just miraculously. They called me. I think it was like the day before. It was the first cruise I'd ever been on, and it was obviously mine and my ex-husband and our kids, and then with his brother and their family.
Nice.
And it was like I did the same thing you did. I just trusted her to, like, here's my credit card, here's how many of us, like, do what you will. And oh my god, it was the worst experience. I will never let somebody else plan my vacation ever
Yeah.
again.
And
was
that's
that your only
planned.
cruise ever, sir?
Yeah, it was my only cruise ever, and I was absolutely, it was I was
First
so turned off
impression,
by
you're
it.
already pissed about it.
I was
First
already pissed,
impression. Yeah.
but we got lucky because, and I'm so thankful this happened because when I saw everybody else's rooms, I laughed. I was like, thank God. The cruise line called me like the day before, and they're like, "Hey, you've been selected. You know, we have a handicap room, but it is an upgrade. We'd like to fill it. If you'd like to, take the upgrade, it's just know that it's a handicap room. So like the bathroom's a little bit more different. Yet and he's like, there's a balcony, there's this, it's bigger, and I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And when I saw because my mom went with us, and so my daughter stayed in the room with my mom, and when I saw their room, I was like, thank God it's so tiny in here and it's crammed and there's no windows and it sucks. Like I would have been miserable.
Yeah,
Absolutely
we
miserable.
weren't. We ended up not being that big a deal because the way that we just never really spent any time in the room, which is a little different. Was a little different on this cruise than previous cruises.
Hmm.
Um, but so we sailed. Had the night at sea. The next day we were in Ketchikan. Got off, toured around the Ketchikan a little bit, and
Hmm.
um, bought some touristy stuff, and got back on the boat. And I missed my opportunity. I wanted to do a seaplane um, tour of like
Hmm.
the glaciers and a bunch of stuff, and I could have done it in Ketchikan, but um, I wanted my wife and son to go with me, but the cost of the seaplane tour was like really, really a lot more than I had like even
Planned.
thought it would be.
Mm.
It's a
And I'm
tourist
like,
trap.
yeah, right. And I was like, I know guys with airplanes that'll come up here and fly me around. Like, oh, I'm not. There's no. No. I can't do this. No, I can't make this happen. And but I should have. I should have gone by myself. Oh, and the other thing is, I didn't want to. I didn't actually think my wife would go anyway, but because she doesn't like small planes. But I thought, well, maybe she'll be like, you just go by yourself. Well, yeah, we'll get to that. And so
I'm going to assume that didn't happen.
Ketchikan was cool. Got back on the boat. The next day we're in Skagway. Also really small, but a lot of history. So it's really cool. And then the next day we went through Glacier National Park. Yeah, Glacier National Park, and then we were in Juneau, and then it was another 2 days at sea, and then we were in Anchorage. And really, all of those locations, all you do is get off the boat, you walk around a little bit, you spend a bunch of money in these little tourist shops, and you get back on the boat.
Hmm.
And it's very much like a Caribbean cruise. It's very much. It's kind of the same thing. It was like crazy how close it was. Food was good. I don't know. It was overall, it was good. I was never like unhappy about anything, or like it was fine. And they had a nice kids club that my youngest son went with us, and he had a great time. And then last day was Anchorage, and Anchorage is
What was the cruise line?
Princess
Oh, okay.
Cruise.
Yeah, we caught the Royal Caribbean here in Baltimore. I'll
Mhm.
never fucking do that again.
You said
Yeah.
Baltimore?
Yeah.
I don't want to insinuate something, but was there a lot of black people on that
Oh
cruise?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. All
And it
right.
was so funny
That's as far as I
because
go.
yeah, we considered the idea of maybe going out of Texas, but then we didn't want to deal with the flights as well because that's obviously if you have to travel to get to your cruise and you're bringing like 13 people, like that gets expensive really quick. Whereas we were all more local to the Baltimore, so it was like, you just drive
Yeah.
down with your car, call it a day. Um, but yeah, it was actually funny because the nightclubs, like my husband and I went up to the bar. It was like maybe 9 or 10 o'clock. And we thought, like, yeah, the kids are all asleep. Let's go get a drink. Grandma's watching the kids. Life's good.
Hell
And we're
yeah.
up there, and it was like Dave Matthews Band music. It was chill. It was like, and then all of a suddenly there was a switch in music and a switch in people, and it got
Oh boy.
cringe real
Oh
fast. And
boy.
we're like, yeah, I think it's time to go. And then we're on the elevator heading back down, and this guy and this girl like arguing because some guy was talking to her, and I was like, they're gonna fight, like they're gonna fucking fight, they're gonna fight in this
What?
elevator, and we're not gonna
I've
have
never
any
been on a
room.
cruise, and I haven't even. I've very rarely even seen anyone fight on a cruise, but that's
Oh my
crazy.
God. Well, go out of one from Baltimore. You'll see them everywhere.
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
won't.
exactly.
It was
No, I
I
like
was
we
won't.
about to
brought
say.
it was like we brought Baltimore with us, and I was so like I told my husband, I was like, never, we will travel to Texas. I'd rather go out with Texas people than
Yes.
I
Yeah.
went
Baltimore
out of
people.
Miami when we did the Caribbean cruise, both times actually. No, we did
Mhm.
Orlando once, and um,
Y-
I like
I've
it.
never been on a cruise. I'm a little scared, but I have one planned for next year to
Why?
talk
Why would you be
about.
scared? Pirates?
Yeah, I don't
Pirates.
want to get killed on the boat.
Nah, you'll be
I can barely
fine.
hear you, Kat. I don't know
I
what
think
you're
you're
saying.
okay.
Sorry.
You'll be fine. But I didn't
Sorry,
like Royal
Jake. I have a soft
Caribbean.
voice.
And she does have a soft voice, but
Yeah.
I just didn't think the ship was set up to be very entertaining.
Mm,
There wasn't a lot to do. They're just like on the boat, even for the kids, I felt like we all just kind of got gypped of entertainment. And
yeah,
once you did everything the first day, then there was like the next day, it's like, now what? We have already done everything,
yeah.
there's
What
nothing
was the
to do.
entertainment like for a Baltimore cruise? I mean,
I mean,
I
They
where did you cruise to?
We went down
it's
to Jamaica, or no, Bermuda. We went down to
Okay,
Bermuda.
so you went
Bermuda. Okay.
from
Um,
Boston,
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Baltimore to Bermuda.
Yeah. Yeah, because we even
So,
did the boat tour on the Bermuda Triangle and stuff.
so did
Cool.
you? So did you like stop? Did you had 2 days at sea and got down to Florida and stopped and then went off to Bermuda, or how did that go?
I don't think we stopped at all. It was straight
Oh,
through. The only time we stopped was when we got to Bermuda.
interesting.
Um and All right, it was ghetto. It was ghetto as shit. Um
I
like
thought
I
Carnival was going to be ghetto because everybody had told me that Carnival. They was like, I don't know about Carnival, and
That's what
um,
I've heard.
I've
Carnival
heard
actually was a lot of fun.
I've
It
heard
was,
Norwegian is like the creme de la creme.
yeah, I think
Um,
Norwegian, Princess,
Mhm.
Holland. They're
Yes, Holland. I have a friend who, her and her husband, they travel a whole lot. They've been to so many places, countries, and they love to do their cruise lines. And yeah, I think if
Yeah.
I do another one, it's definitely gonna be her recommendation.
so what I've discovered is you get out of the cruise kind of what you put into it, especially if you're doing if you want to do any kind of shore excursions. If you plan ahead, you have a great time.
Yeah.
If you just like walk off the boat and be like, "What the fuck I'm gonna do?"
Uh-huh.
You probably end up at the local Home Depot or some shit.
Well,
So
that was another reason I was upset because my sister-in-law was in charge of doing all of this, and she knew, like, I was like, look, I have no idea what I'm doing, what I'm planning for, so you just tell me what to do and I would like give you my credit card and whatever. She had no excursions booked. The rooms were of course like just ooh. And there was no planning whatsoever. So it came down to like 2 weeks prior, and I asked her, I said, which excursions are we getting and blah 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 blah. And she's like, oh, I didn't get any. And I'm like, so we're just gonna get there and do nothing? Like,
Yeah, like
what?
you need to plan out something like when you
Right.
get to that
And
yeah.
so I called the cruise line and worked with them, and the guy kind of made some magic happen for me just to get us on the little boat tour around Bermuda and stuff, because it like everything else was booked solid. And we had so many people. If there was two of us, yeah, maybe you could fly on the seat of your pants, but like there was what, like 13 of us or something.
Wow.
Like you can't just walk in and be like, let's figure it out when we get there. That's not how that
Sarah,
works.
it's you, your husband, and like you guys took your immediate family or something like that? That's a
Yeah, it
big
was
amount of people.
us and our kids, and then both of our moms, and then his brother and his wife
His
and
family.
kids.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so
Yeah, it's
yeah,
pretty big. Okay, gotcha.
yeah,
Gotcha.
it was definitely a full group for sure.
That
Yeah,
Which
sounds
yeah.
was
terrible.
fun.
That
Well,
sounds like fun. It really
it
does.
was
That
it
sounds like
was
a
nice. It was nice. It was pleasant to, we got to get a whole family picture together, and we all
right.
got to have a good time.
But
But
it was a bit ghetto, right? You did
oh
stated
my
that
God,
for
there's
certain
so
reasons
many
there that we don't want to
ghetto.
talk about, but I get you there. I get you there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
Yeah.
was it was a
I
little
don't know what I'd do
cringe.
if I were on a cruise line where I was like, man, this is kind of ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen videos of cruise lines where it's like look, dude, I don't want to sound this way, but it's like a black cruise
You
line.
sound that way.
And
Don't worry.
yeah, I'm sorry to say that. Fuck it. I'll just say it. But I've seen those black cruise lines and it's just like people with the gangster music and the ghetto-ness and a lot of these women are really overweight. It just doesn't look appealing to a
Yeah,
family
I don't
oriented.
know that I've ever noticed that. So again, the first Carnival cruise we took, we went out of Miami.
Hmm.
I didn't think I was going to enjoy it because when we left, I mean, it was like I forget what it was, probably right after Christmas or something. It was in Miami. It was like 50 degrees or something, right, or 60 degrees. It's like as cold as it gets down there, and so I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. This doesn't seem like it's going to be a good time. We got on the
Oh, you still have that cough, Grid. Damn.
yeah, it's going to be a couple of weeks according to the doctor. So
Mhm.
I took a couple of probably took a day. We did a day down to um, the Bahamas. We hit a couple of the Bahama Islands and then did Puerto Rico and then came back. And we did Port Royal, Nassau, so it was actually a really cool cruise. And like we were in the Bahamas, we stopped where they have the like pirate museum and they have statues of the pirates out front with and like they have a tribute to Captain Jack Sparrow in front of it and all
Nice.
kinds of cool stuff. And that was one where we made no plans, but it was cool because you could just get out and just walk everywhere or rent a scooter. You didn't need to like rent a car or rent a Jeep and go to the other side of the island or there were shuttles to all the beaches and we would go to these cool beaches and just hang out all day and come back. So that was and I didn't know anything about that, and that set my expectation for cruising. And the food was awesome. We had a suite. We had actually a really really nice suite. And that set that I was like, all right, this is cool.
Yeah.
And the boats have gyms. They have everything, literally everything you want on the boat. If you're bored, it's because you don't know how to keep yourself entertained. So, but
I like to be bored.
I mean, I used to. Now my wife's a little different than me. I can just sit and read for like hours and not even care. So I would go up on deck and just find a chair somewhere and just sit there and watch the
Yeah,
water go by.
Grid, you could do
Read.
that when you're at home, man. Like when you're on a
Yeah, right.
cruise. Yeah, like come on.
Well, I
That's
can't
kind of
watch the
lame.
water go by, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
Take a rest.
and then so the second one we left out of Orlando, and we went back. We did the Bahamas again, but I forget which islands it was. And it was really cool. It was a really good, and that was actually right before COVID hit.
Mm.
I mean, like right before, we did it in November, and it was really cool. My son went with us. We had a great time. There's one of the things I think about, like the Caribbean, I like because you go there and you can buy a lot of stuff tax free in the Caribbean, especially like jewelry and watches and things like that. You can buy them there if you know what you're doing and bring them back, and you save a lot of money.
Yeah.
And on the boat, when you're offshore, you can save a lot of the taxes and duties and import fees and things like that as well. So the Alaskan cruise was different because we were still in the U.S. So it's just different.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
but my wife still bought bought a really cool ring on the boat. So it was
Hell yeah,
Oh,
Grid.
sounds cool.
I do need to take a vacation soon, by the way, guys. So
I never took a vacation, so that the
yeah.
trip to the trip to the first cruise to the Caribbean was the first vacation I had taken in like 12 years.
Damn, boy. All
Yeah.
right. Well, I haven't
Yeah.
taken a vacation in 5 years, but 12, I think you got me there.
Yeah. But because I was always working. So
Yeah, I gotcha. I gotcha.
I'll take a
But
few. I
Go
take a
ahead.
few every year, but I need another.
What?
I said I take a few every year, but I need another.
You need another?
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
seem to be on vacation a
Kissy
lot.
cat. Kissy
You
cat
seem
and
to
I are
be
gonna go
on
on
vacation.
vacation.
Yeah, there you go.
She's gonna take me on a cruise and
I'll
we'll
Right.
take you
report back. We'll make
on my first cruise. I do actually have the one planned for next year, but it's to Antarctica. I don't know if you'd really want to go on that one, Sarah.
Right on,
Well,
right on.
Well, make sure that if you're going to look, do a little pre-planning, especially if you're going to go to the islands or something, because there's a lot. If you book ahead, especially, you can save a lot of money on, and if you negotiate pretty well, you can save a lot of money on like the jet ski tours and things like that. Because
Yeah.
if you just show up and do it, they're going to just destroy you. So
By
it's
the
going to
way,
be so expensive.
Abe Dink says, "What is vacation?" Right, and I kind of have that mentality too because, like with Sarah and Grid, you guys have families, etc. Like you kind of get motivated to kind of take your families out on vacations. Me as a single guy, I mean, I don't really get the urge to go on vacation unless it's like needed. So I've
Yeah,
just
it's
been working and just kind of like I don't really think about it to be
well,
honest.
you
But
have
I
nothing to
know I
take
need it.
vacation from,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah. Well,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I don't really need it. Like, I'm just working, doing my thing. I don't really feel like I need the vacation. But I think after 5 years, it's probably a good idea to do something. You
Yeah,
know?
do something for yourself.
The
Yeah.
idea. So I don't. So I never even considered going on vacation because first of all, I was always working, and if I wasn't working, I was doing something productive, and
Right.
so I just really didn't. I was like, why do I need a vacation? I don't need a vacation.
I feel the same way. I don't need a vacation.
My wife is the one that's like, I want to
We
go to
let's do it.
wherever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
last year was the first year in like a long time that we hadn't left the country. Like we stayed in the country last year. We didn't really go overseas at all. And I was like, that's awesome. And it was great to just kind of hang out and not have to pack up and everything. But this year we did the Canada Alaska thing, which was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You got sick from it. Yeah. You got sick from it, but
Bless your heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, so after so one of the interesting things, and I meant to cover this. So I wanted to do the seaplane tour, and I originally was going to do it and I should have done it in Ketchikan. I didn't, and then I was going to do it in Skagway, but the guy in Skagway had actually the one guy who was doing float plane tours out of there passed, and then they decided not to do it anymore, or they don't have anybody that I could book through to do it. And I didn't, I wasn't going to like go up and down the airport and see if I could find somebody to go fly me around, which probably would have been an okay idea. And then, I ended up kind of not being able to go just because I didn't plan well. And
Yeah.
by the time it was done, it's like, yeah, there's nowhere I can't go fly.
Yeah, and you were stating earlier, you got to plan that shit, right?
You got to plan it. You got to plan it,
Yeah.
and I knew that, but I hadn't really occurred to me to do a float plane trip, but until I got there, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you just got to go to the local bait and tackle shop. Those guys have the ends for everything.
It's interesting. Most of the, pardon me, most of like the backcountry fishing tour stuff is the tourists you're not going to get to it. That stuff has to be booked so far in advance. Now just the little salmon tours where they take you out in the boat in the harbor or slightly offshore, and you're ocean fishing for a salmon. That's totally different. But and there was
I've had my bear hunt for it's next May.
You're doing bear hunt?
Yeah, I'm going to Kodiak Island.
That's badass. That is badass. I'm going to be honest. That's pretty cool. All right, now
I've had that planned for like 4 years. So
is it an archery hunt, or you taking a gun with you?
Well, I'm taking both. We'll see.
Both? All right.
Kat, are you like British or something like that?
What?
She kind of has like an accent here that I'm trying to recognize.
That's called Southern.
Oh, Southern. So you are American then, Kat, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering. I was hearing some type of accent. That's all.
This is the third time I've had someone ask me if I'm British.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So then, therefore, I'm not the only one here. So that makes me feel a little bit better here.
I'm hearing an accent, says the guy that says Sarah.
Well, in Mexico, it's Sara, right? Sara. Yeah, like that's how they pronounce it. That's how I've always known the terminology of Sara, Sara. But that's all it is, Sara. I'm going to go back to calling you that now that you've corrected me multiple times. But at this point, it's become like a meme from my audience. They'll be like, "It's Sarah." They literally do pronunciations in the chat when I talk about you. They'll be like, SAW, saw or Sarah, right? Like they do these pronunciations for me just to kind of like correct me. I'm like, I don't even give a shit anymore. I'm like, I'm just gonna call her Sarah. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just don't care.
I mean, it's better than calling me a bitch, so I'll take it.
Fair enough. There you go. See, I could have been worse. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So bear hunting. Let's get back to the bear hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How tall are you again?
I'm 5'7".
5'7". All right.
Yeah, the bears are like 10.5 feet.
Yeah.
That's very tall.
A little bit different. A little bit different than the black bears I've hunted here.
Yeah.
So I guess she actually would say she'd be caught in the woods with a bear.
That's right.
That's what I've said. That's been my response, just as a joke, because I've actually, killed a bear with a bow.
That's kind of sexy, not gonna lie.
Right. Like half the chat right now is like.
It was out of necessity, though. I wasn't actually bear hunting, but I was deer hunting, and the bear climbed the tree on me.
Oh, so it was self-defense. It wasn't.
It was.
You didn't have a bear tag.
Now, Kat,
Well,
I would assume
have a bear tag, but
You did have a bear tag. Okay.
Kat, by the way, I would assume that you were bear hunting with like other people, not just you by yourself going
I
out
was
there.
alone. I was alone.
You were alone? Bear hunting?
Well, I was deer hunting. I wasn't
deer
bear
hunting. I'm sorry. Okay. Deer hunting. My bad.
The bear just happened to pick her tree.
Gotcha.
It turned into a bear hunt.
Okay.
Accidentally.
So you were deer hunting on your own?
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. All right. Right on.
Yeah.
Pretty risky, but right on. Right on.
Well,
Well,
you
you
have
ran
your
into a bear. I figured that'd be pretty risky.
Clearly, the risk level was low.
Well, there's no cell phone service where we hunt, so we have little two-way radios. So called for my dad to come help afterwards.
Okay. All right.
Oh, that's funny. So you weren't actually bear hunting, but you got to fill a bear tag anyway.
hmm
All right. Was it a large bear?
It was about 350 pounds.
Okay.
Wow, that doesn't sound like a big bear. Maybe a teenage bear,
It was just medium.
medium. Okay.
Medium.
Medium.
Black bear.
Yeah.
Black bear.
hmm
Racist.
You racist bear. Wow. You shot the black bear in there. This is why. Look,
I've got the
white
the
people
rug.
shooting black bears.
I've got the
Racism.
rug.
That's why she came up on screen because Jake was over there talking about black people. She's like, my man, my man.
My man, yeah, she agrees with me on here. Like, I kind of get it, I kind of get it. And Sarah even admitted, hey, man, I'm coming out of Baltimore here, and I know the statistics on that. I'm just saying, like, Sarah's answers kind of gave way on that, but whatever.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I grew up
That
in
is
Baltimore. I'm very, very familiar with the crowd.
sure, yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's actually awesome. I think you told me that you killed a bear, but for some reason it didn't like.
Well,
Resonate,
honestly,
yeah.
Grid, I tried not to kill the bear. It climbed the tree, and I took my arrow because I didn't have a gun with me because the deer hunting in the county where I hunt is archery only. So I didn't have a gun. I only had my bow. So I poked the bear with my arrow, like trying to make it go back down the tree,
Okay.
and it did, and then it climbed back up. So I was like, you know what? I guess we have to do this.
Dinner.
You're telling me, Kat, you defended yourself with a bow and arrow. It wasn't even a gun. It was a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. This is a unique story. I've never heard.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, I know.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. That's how they roll in West Virginia.
Archery. Yeah.
Archery only in her county.
Yeah, since like 1969, it's been archery only. So we grow some pretty big deer.
Yeah. Okay. So that you don't have a muzzleloader or a big gun season at all?
Not in that county, but I go other places and they do.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So anyways, guys. Grid?
Yeah. What's up?
No, I was gonna ask. I know me and Grid actually reacted to the Sarah, you're here on panel. Did you see the Andrew Wilson, Jay Dyer versus Parker and Danny?
Oh yeah, we didn't get to finish that because the
We
annoying
didn't, yeah.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, Grid. I know. Maybe Sarah's maybe she caught it.
I think she's sleeping.
Oh, she's a sleeping tomato now. Never mind.
Her little thing was lit up. Oh, she left.
Yeah.
No, it may have her earbuds may have messed up.
Okay.
We'll find out.
Perhaps. Kat, by the way, where in the United States do you live where you're doing the hunting on the arrows again?
West Virginia.
West Virginia. Okay. Interesting.
Mhm.
Can you hear me now?
We
Yes,
can
We
hear
got
you
you.
now.
Yeah, we can hear you
Okay.
now.
I put my earbuds away and then it like just stopped working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But no, I watched a nudge of the Andrew Wilson and
Parker.
Piers Morgan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
your thoughts on that?
The Gaytheist commentary
That was great.
fucking
That was
killed
pretty-
me. I was in tears.
That was pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. That was pretty hilarious. The Gaytheists. We have two Gaytheists on the panel.
I got to be honest. That was I just couldn't tell if Parker is intentionally trying to be a he she or she male or whatever they call them now. But
Right.
I wasn't. That dude is getting more and more feminine every single time I see him on camera.
Yeah. And by the way, when I was reacting to that, I brought up a video where Parker does believe that trans women are women.
Yeah.
So when the subject was brought up, he made a claim saying that I'm not saying that trans women are women. He goes, I pause it automatically. I was like, dude, I remember seeing recently his TikTok debate on this. So yeah, like Jay Dyer was making I think it was a debacle here. I think Danny, which was kind of like a newcomer, he just got viral and stuff like that. I don't think Danny's kind of used to really kind of going about the Andrew Wilson, Jay Dyer on the mainstream. So he was kind of quiet most of the time here. He literally made a claim that Andrew, like he admitted that he's bisexual, but at the same time he said that he's not a homosexual, which kind of contradicts his claim here about homosexuality. I guess he said because he's married for the past 5 years in a monogamous relationship, the fact that he's still attracted to guys doesn't make him a homosexual. I was just like, wow, this is really weird argumentation that I haven't heard before in the past. I don't know.
Pardon me.
Yeah, I did think it was because even Andrew said, what was that? What was that other guy's name again?
Danny?
Yeah, was that the one that was like, I'm bisexual or whatever?
Yes. Yeah.
And when Andrew said, yeah, that's homosexuality, and he's like, well, but, and
But I'm married for 5 years.
right, it's like,
Yeah.
well, that doesn't change the fact that you are, that doesn't change it.
Yeah.
And then they went into like the bullying thing, and it's like, I think we need to, I don't know, it was
No, you're
very
right.
crybaby-esque.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right, Sarah, because Danny was making automatically about the bullying situation. Oh, well, we have this issue because of people like Andrew Wilson and Jay Dyer that that bully the LGBT community. And it's funny because it's something that I've seen reoccurring when it comes to the bullying aspect of things. But at the same time, a lot of these people don't really seem to make actual arguments on that. Same thing with Danny. I thought Danny was smarter than that because it kind of felt like he did school Jordan Peterson, really honing in about his Christianity. And he did win on Jordan Peterson. I think Jordan Peterson, to a degree, was smart, but that's why he went viral. And yeah, I just expected a little bit more from Danny. I thought maybe he was a little bit more intelligent in his philosophy degree that he has. But yeah, didn't really pan out too much on Pierce Morgan.
Yeah, Parker's arguments were just terrible, and he would get counterpointed by either Jay or Andrew, and absolutely not even acknowledge the counterpoint, and just keep on rolling. And they'd be like, "No, you got. This is what we're saying." No. We've moved on, or whatever. And it was, I was just like, no. So
Yeah,
terrible. It was just terrible.
It was entertaining though. Grid, we can't deny that. It was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it could have been worse. The problem is that they're not really. I mean, and this is Andrew's made this comment. And I had to think about it because I don't pay attention to TikTok at all, hardly, unless somebody happens to like literally throw a TikTok into a DM or shoot it to me in an email or something like that. Hey, man, check this out. I don't do TikTok. I don't care. But it's interesting because Andrew himself was saying, that these guys, when you get them in a moderated debate, they just fall apart, and they won't agree. They usually won't even agree to them,
right?
Because they can't mute you. They can't if they make a point, you get to refute it. And what you really saw is Parker doing his best to ignore the points that Andrew was making and just keep trying to repeat the same rhetoric, the same narrative over and over and over again.
Yep.
And just act like Andrew wasn't saying anything. And same thing with Jay, but he couldn't mute them, right?
Yeah.
And so since he couldn't mute them, he couldn't ignore them completely. So then he would be like, "Well, you want to answer the question? You want to answer the question?"
Yeah.
And all this other stuff. So,
Grid, have you noticed the difference though? The people that they challenge, like Dean Withers and Parker, they usually try to challenge like Charlie Kirk, who, by the way, Charlie Kirk, when he goes out on college campuses, he does like a script debate where
Yeah.
he already has everything pretty much planned
Yeah,
out,
sure.
and he's not as intelligent as a lot of people think. Like, so Parker would die to he wants to debate Charlie Kirk. I think Parker's
But he wants to debate Charlie Kirk in a very specific way.
But the thing is, he's more than willing to adapt to Charlie Kirk's demands. Charlie Kirk
No, he
doesn't
isn't.
want to have because dude, he's challenged him multiple times. Charlie Kirk,
Yeah, he challenges him, but
it's
Charlie
very different
Kirk says,
from
yes,
from,
we'll
from
do
Andrew.
it this way.
Yeah, but
And-
Andrew's
and-
willing to do. Let's do it live. Let's do it here. Moderator, live debate. Charlie's not willing to do that. I think Charlie's not as he's not as
Charlie is
prolific.
willing to do that, but Parker hasn't been.
Are you sure about that?
Well, so did you see the video that Andrew reviewed, where Charlie is literally sitting there going, "I have asked you." He's like, "I've asked you to repeatedly to debate me in a moderated in person." The thing is that Charlie won't debate Parker just online. Charlie
Okay.
wants to debate him in person with a moderator.
So why
No
would
mute
Parker
button.
go out of his way to go to the school, the colleges to debate him when
Because he's not, that's not a debate. That's not a debate.
it's not a debate, but he is
But
saying
he's not going out of
won't-
his way to debate him. He's going out of his way to make it look like that he's willing
Sure.
to debate him, knowing that that's not the format, that he's not going to be able
Sure.
to debate him. All he's doing, and just look at, watch Andrew's video where Parker's like, "I just destroyed Charlie Kirk."
I remember
and I'm
that.
like,
Yeah,
"Dude, you got absolute." I mean, I'm like, Parker, you got your ass handed to you, like stone cold.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I remember seeing that. Now, I don't know if Charlie Kirk has said, let's do an in-person debate format,
Well,
etc. I don't know.
That
anything
is
about
apparently the terms. And again, I'm not privy to emails or anything
Yeah.
like that, obviously. But
Yeah,
but
I'm not
my
too sure on that.
understanding.
I'm not too sure on that. However, Andrew has made that public, full
Yeah.
on, saying let's do it, and they've completely dodged Andrew Wilson. But with Charlie Kirk has said, well, we're gonna meet up with Dean later in the year, but he didn't say what format it was.
Yeah,
Like
the deal with meeting up with Dean is supposed to be live. So I guess Dean said that he would fly to wherever and do whatever,
right.
or they would meet somewhere, neutral ground, whatever, and do it in person. But the thing with Andrew is the only way Andrew got Parker to face him was because it was on Piers Morgan.
Right. Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
no other way. He would have literally, Parker would never have stepped up, period,
Yeah.
against Andrew.
No, I
It's
agree.
the same thing with Charlie. It's the same thing with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk will go, not Charlie Kirk. Parker will literally sit there and run his mouth all day long about Andrew, about Charlie Kirk, and about basically every other competent
right winger. Yeah, right winger.
competent right-wing debater.
Yeah.
Run his mouth until you say, fine, Parker, we're going to sit down with a moderator and we're going to have an actual debate.
Yeah.
And then he'll run his mouth about how you're scared and you
Yeah.
won't debate him.
No, I get
And
you
it-
there.
Same thing with Charlie Kirk. It's the same thing with everyone else.
But like what I've noticed when it comes to the debate, left wing debate bros, that they'll challenge like a Charlie Kirk, which I haven't seen Charlie Kirk say that towards a moderated live debate. They've done the same thing with Andrew Tate, for example. Andrew Tate.
Well, that's why Charlie Kirk has them blacklisted, though. I mean, he's technically not got them blacklisted, but why he refuses to deal with them because they're so bad faith. Every
Sure.
time they've agreed to debate him in a properly moderated platform,
Mhm.
they've canceled every single time
With Charlie Kirk?
with Charlie Kirk.
Okay, I don't know anything about that. I didn't know that.
I understand. I mean, if
I
you
know
just
they've
listen
done
to
it with
Parker,
Andrew.
Parker's
I've never
like,
seen it with Charlie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd have to look that up. I don't know anything about that. But from my understanding, it kind of felt like Charlie tends to avoid those, because Charlie. It's the same thing with like Fuentes. Like Fuentes is a guy that is more than willing to debate even Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro, etc. But they never ever want to debate Nick Fuentes. He's more than happy to do it. He's made challenges multiple times online, but they tend to avoid him. They tend to avoid Andrew Wilson.
Well, I mean, that's just saying, Nick Fritos on YouTube can get your channel banned.
Well, I said Fuentes. I didn't say his first
I know.
name.
But I'm saying, look, there are some people that I wouldn't do it. Right?
Sure.
Like the thing is there's no upside for Charlie Kirk to do that. It's just the same reason Andrew won't engage with Fritos and people like that. He won't engage with them because there's no upside for him.
Well, I've never heard Andrew say that he won't engage with Fritos.
He did once. We actually there was a time when I was going to have that guy on my show, and I refused to have him
Fritos?
on my show. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How? I'll be happy.
It was
to
a
get him on.
Josie thing back in the day.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Josie doesn't like me these days, but it's fine.
Yeah, Josie's okay, but yeah. So, but at any rate, I was supposed to, that this was getting set up, and I was like, I don't really know who this is, right? Like, I don't pay attention to that specific area of the internet, and then I started looking into it. And I'm like, holy crap, this dude is like,
he's out there. Yeah,
it's not that he's out there. It's fine. His beliefs are his beliefs, but YouTube hates him.
Yeah.
Mainstream media hates him. Everybody hates him. And so it's nuclear to interface with this guy.
Sure.
So, you have to just do it right. And I honestly didn't have enough. I didn't really want to.
Yeah.
Oh, no worries, Kissy Cat. You can hop off. You don't have to type it in the chat. You could just say, hey guys.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt. Y'all were like all into conversation.
Yeah, well, we're still in awe of the bear.
I'm not like made for this panel verse because I don't.
Do you have the do you have any of the bear steaks left?
So I gave them away because I don't particularly like bear meat.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I gave them away.
Okay.
But thanks for having me up. Just wanted to come say hi.
Nice
Have a
to
good
meet you,
night.
Kat.
I hope you're doing well. I know yesterday was tough for you.
Yeah, well, it'll be all right. Nice to meet you too, Jake. I'll see y'all later.
Okay. Thank you, Kissy Cat.
Have a good night.
Yep. Bye. So, So if I was Ben Shapiro, there's no fucking way in hell that you would ever get me to debate Nick.
Fritos.
Yeah, Fritos. There's no way. There's just no way. There's no upside.
Grid. Okay, so for
What
me,
do I gain? What do I gain by that debate?
So for me,
first of all, what would we debate? We're not going to agree on anything. So
okay, well then there's plenty to debate on. Like for me personally, if I were to debate Fritos, I would say I have everything to gain. He doesn't. He's such a bigger name than me. Why not do it, right? You don't even have to fucking platform it on your channel. You could just separate your channel from whoever's hosting it, right? For me personally, like, why not just fucking do it? You don't have to put it on your channel at all. And then,
but
however,
again,
the viewers.
So you're small, right?
Yeah.
Ish. Those guys aren't.
Yeah. Well, that's why. So at the end of the day, I have everything to gain from that exchange.
Yeah.
Where Fritos doesn't.
Yeah.
And
even
if
even
he's
now,
willing
though,
to do it, why not do it? Why not? Like, I don't see any downside of doing it, especially if you're on the antagonist side of Fritos. YouTube will probably
no,
benefit.
Arthur guy. We're not confusing it.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, I think that type of exchange would be beneficial to the smaller channels.
I don't think so. I think the risk is very high, especially the smaller the channel, that your channel will get nuked. Plus,
but if you're against Fritos, like I like leftists talk about, Fritos all the time. They don't get nuked on X. They don't get nuked on YouTube. Especially if you're in the counter active of Fritos.
Yeah, but
Uh,
there's a
you
difference between just talking about it, which is still I'm very I don't like mentioning that name, right?
right.
But not it's not just if I were to have him on my show, I would be scared for the health of my channel, being banned, shadow banned, or otherwise.
You know,
Just
Grid, I would happy to platform Fritos and you on my
yeah,
show, and you don't even have to put it on yours. And I
yeah,
would be happy to have that exchange.
yeah. I don't know that it would. I just don't see the upside for me. I don't
Ah,
have. I don't. I already know I don't disagree. That I don't agree with him,
mhm.
and I know that we're not going to have a. We're not going to. It's like I could debate Destiny because Destiny I think is
A little more friendlier, obviously.
well
Even though,
it's not friendlier
well,
but
friendlier to the social media, friendlier to the
yeah,
social media. You're not gonna get
yeah, but
banned
I
off of it.
think it's stuff that I can debate and feel like I can make a point and win a point. I just see anything that I would do with
Frito.
Nikki is it's just all L. There's no
Hmm.
win. It's just all L. But that's
Do,
my
do you
opinion, right?
do you
That's
think
my
Fritos is more bad faith as far as debating wise than a Destiny?
well, I don't think Destiny is particularly bad faith.
I think he is.
You think so?
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
think he's
think.
just really good at his rhetoric, and people want to,
Yeah, I mean, I just think he
you
kind
know,
of
he.
yeah,
I
I
don't know
just
if
kind
he's
of
bad faith. I think that I mean, obviously he's a good debater, and he wants to
he
win.
is.
So,
Yeah.
Freitas, I don't think he's particularly bad faith either. I think he's very upfront about what he believes and how he believes it, and he's so I would say they're probably close to equal,
Okay.
but
All right.
not. I wouldn't say one's worse than the other.
Yeah, that's fair.
As far as being bad faith, it's not that I think that it would be a horrible argument to have, or which I'm not really sure what I would debate with him, because I'm sure that we don't agree on a lot, but that doesn't mean there's room there to debate, right? We just disagree.
I think you'd probably agree with at least the micro takes of Fuentes. I'm sorry, Fritos, than maybe the micro takes of Destiny. Like you would say, okay, like Fritos would say something like, yeah, women should submit to their husbands, right? Stuff like that you would hear from like basic bitch type of stuff that you hear online, to where
Yeah,
Destiny is a Coomer gremlin that allows his wife to get nailed by other dudes. So I think that's night and day. And I think on the micro stuff you might more or less agree with Frito on that stuff, but it's kind of like the macro stuff that you would say
yeah.
you would disagree, like the aughts that you would probably disagree with Frito on.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if not. Well, I mean, I understand the biggest position that he has is
Mm,
obviously the
the
um,
Jade, yeah,
yeah, and a bunch of other stuff.
right, yeah.
But speaking of Destiny, I am dying to know how he's doing in court. Has anybody been following that?
I haven't. I've heard about it. I know Destiny is going through that situation. By the way, Grid, you do realize he's doing the anti-Trump tour, all 50 states he's hitting.
No,
Um,
I didn't know that.
yeah, he's doing that with Travis Panberg. He's the one that's kind of
Is
throwing
that the
off these.
Canadian idiot?
He's the Canadian idiot. But that guy, he's gonna be hitting all 50 states. He's gonna be hitting Texas in August. So I'll be over there over there for the event in August.
Were you
August.
invited, or did you
This
just
time around,
sign
I
up?
wasn't invited. This time around, I wasn't. For Detroit, I was. For this time around, I wasn't. So I
Yeah.
did pay my way to get into the debate space with Destiny.
Mhm.
However, if he hits up Tennessee soon, you should definitely consider doing an
I think if
exchange
I'm
with
going to
Destiny.
debate Destiny, I think what I would do to debate Destiny is I'd probably go through Modern Day Debate or Andrew and get it set up, and I'd have an actual debate.
Yeah.
Debating Destiny on the big stage like that is cool. but I don't. You know,
But Grid, you're guaranteed at least 500,000 views. At least 500,000 views
yeah.
on that debate stage. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's worth your time, even if it's 10 minutes to 15 minutes. I got 15 minutes, but even that 15 minutes, if you make it entertaining and good and direct, yeah, man. Like, I think it's healthy for your
Yeah, I
channel.
just feel like that I would benefit more from a one-on-one debate with Destiny than I would, anything else. And I mean, I've worked my way up to where. So I actually had an opportunity last year
Mm-hmm.
where I could have had Destiny on the show, and I had like 10 or 15 shows out at that point. Like I was like a fucking nobody.
I remember hearing about that. I think Destiny knew about your relations with Andrew
Yeah,
and the shit
yeah,
talking, stuff like that. So he was willing to come on. You denied it.
yeah.
For
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. I honestly didn't really. Never really shit talk Destiny beyond what I would say to about. I mean, I give my unvarnished opinion on a lot of people, right?
right.
Like, I'm not. It's not even really shit talking. It's just.
But I think Destiny sees you and knows that you're well, he'll probably categorize you as the MAGA right wing Andrew
Sure.
Wilson
Yeah.
crazy person. So
So far we're good.
yeah, so he's probably looking into, yeah, let's go in there and he just wants to actually
Yeah, let's
demolish
destroy
you
this. Let's
for
destroy
his
this
channel.
new guy. Yeah, destroy
Exactly.
new guy.
That was his
Yeah.
mentality, I was thinking at the time.
And so I had the opportunity to have him on. I told Josie no, I don't want Destiny on because I'm not ready.
Mhm.
Not I don't have the platform. I don't have the viewers. I don't have the subscribers. Like even though I only I don't have the I don't get the live viewers like he does and all that, but being able to even just have the subscribers to push out
Grid, really
stuff.
quick. Hold that thought. I need to just take a quick leak. I'll be
Yeah,
back
man, go
really
ahead.
fast.
That's cool. I'm waiting on the tomato to refill her tank, I guess, and we'll talk. All right, so let's see what's going on in the chat. I have not been able to pay a whole lot of attention to the chat. He does need to buy an AR already. That is for sure, Clover Tack. Yeah, he needs to buy a freaking AR already. Jesus. It's only been a year we've been after him on this. I think what we should do is we should reach out to like IWI or somebody and get them to gift him uh, a what do they call it? A hardship piece. He needs a hardship. So the next week's schedule, Smoking Spaceman. Well, it looks like Monday I'll be back at my regular time, noon. We'll be doing the Nooner show, and that's going to be cool. And then Monday night, hopefully I get to debate somewhere. It'd be cool if I do. If not, it's fine. Then Tuesday, nothing. I'm going to go fishing. What else? Let's see. Wednesday night we'll be on. We're going to do a kind of a chill stream. Friday night we'll do the debate stream. And Saturday night we'll be doing this again. And that's what the schedule looks like. That's what's up. Jake, how did you like the debate show last night?
Actually, it was very fun. I like the format there. I'm glad that I was able to scrap up a little bit. And even with the subject, I didn't know what the subject was. even looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, I could have debated that better. Like with the DEI, that was the kind of the subject that I ran into. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Um, yeah, I won it, but I didn't feel like I won it as well as I should have, to be
Mhm.
honest. But I think that's kind of like the point of that show,
Yeah.
because you have such a small amount of time to make a coherent point within that. I think it's really good format, Grid. Um, Definitely something that you need to keep doing consistently. And to be honest, I'm definitely gonna keep going on those Friday nights. However, I can't go all fucking night.
We don't go
uh,
all night. We went to like right at midnight last night.
oh, did you? Okay, all
Yeah.
right, yeah.
I
I
don't
was
go
there
all
for
night.
yeah, I was there for about 2 hours. You started
Yeah.
at 8, so 8 to midnight. Okay, if I know that because I realized that those debate formats can go for hours, so I was
Yeah.
just like,
So
yeah,
I try and end. I it would be like the end of the world for me to go to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning.
okay,
I
good to
just can't
know.
do it. I just
Good to
can't
know.
do it
Yeah.
because, and not because I mean I used to do it all the time, but the um the thing is that we're really trying to get we're trying to get to a winner, right? And if you and that's why we don't have the sit around on stage and talk to people for 20 hours or anything like
Right.
that. It's like we get up there, who's up, who's gonna debate. Okay, we got it. Everybody out. Right.
Yeah.
And
What gave you that idea for that format, by the way? Like what sparked on why you wanted to
um
start the show? Like
well, we've been refining it. Originally, I was looking around at all of the internet game shows that are out there, right?
internet game shows, like what,
Like
Family Feud or
VK.
oh, okay.
There's another one
Raging
called
Tomato.
yeah, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
There's another one, and now I can't, and I'm drawing a blank on the name of it. But this girl runs one. It's not really debate, but it's like it's kind of debate format. This girl runs, and there's a bunch, and I just went around. I started looking, at like how does this work for people? Like where are the mistakes at?
Hmm.
Um, the biggest flaw in the format was usually that the amount of time it took to get done
Hmm.
and to crown a winner. And the second flaw was the judging. Vibe says he loved yesterday. Yeah.
Oh,
And so
Vibe was
it's
on the panel. Yeah, hell
yeah,
yeah, Vibe.
yeah. He went quite far. And I think he ended up having to quit. I don't think he lost. I think he had to sign off.
Yeah, shout out
So,
to Vibe. I like the guy.
but the whole thing was like, how do we make this work? And so I had another friend of mine who was I had two friends that were both trying to come up with a way of doing a debate game show or a debate, whatever you want to call
Right.
it. And both had great ideas, and I kept giving them mostly my ideas, but they wouldn't take them. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to do it.
Hmm.
And so, and actually, Wicked Wally's the one that kind of pushed me over the edge, because I was like, I just really want to debate, and I like that short format, and because I like the idea that I just get a lot of practice in,
Hmm.
and it was pretty awesome. So I created I created the original deal, right?
Hmm.
Put it all together. And then Anson Knowles and Tiki Tack and a bunch of people have helped me like whittle it down, right? People have been, and because I actually take suggestions,
Hmm.
right? Hey, Kissy Cat sent out some memberships. What about that?
Shout out to Kissy Cat.
The condition is that you all have to go fight a bear in order to receive those gifted memberships. So
I'm ready.
get your bows ready.
I got
Yeah,
I got my
yeah.
bow right here.
Shoot out those archery
And my
skills.
sword. I got a sword and my bow.
Grid, I told you, get the sword in the background, man. The swords are cool. Every cool character in fiction has a sword, Grid. You know, swords are awesome.
Yeah. So when anybody would give me a suggestion like, hey, maybe try this, I'd literally like think about it. Like, well, maybe that works. Maybe it won't work. And so we've got it whittled down pretty good now. Like we've got the nobody did it last night, but when the chat's throwing out the donations and they do the reversal, that happened to Abe. I just saw him in the chat. Abe Dinkus last week. He got just jacked around a little bit because he had just agreed to the topic and then they reversed it, the position. And so
They
he thought it
unoed
was
his
the
ass.
positive and he ended up having to defend.
Yeah.
That was like awesome. And so that was, he had a great, that was 2 weeks ago, I guess, because
I like his name, Abe Dinkus. That's hilarious.
yeah. And, but yeah, but you did win. That is true. Abe did win. Yeah, he had to debate for Mushroom Jesus or something like that. So
Holy shit, Mushroom Jesus.
yeah, I don't know. I don't remember, but it was really, it's a really good format. So
I like how you came to that conclusion because you actually had people kind of giving you ideas for that.
Mhm.
Sorry, Clover Attack. What were you going to say?
Oh, I just said I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were watching last night, Clover Attack?
Yeah, it was so like the Mortal Kombat, the verbal combat, right?
Yeah.
So I've dropped in there several times. It's just way too like abrasive and like bar fight, like dive bar. It's just I don't know how to explain it. I'm not saying that in a bad way because that's a flavor that some people like.
They like,
But it's
yeah.
just like but like last night, like the judges were helping explain things like with debate tactics and it was just laid back and it was lighthearted, like having to switch sides and it's just different. It's not like in your face and it's not, I don't know, it's not like raw as war, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Wrestling.
not only that, I think it gives a place for especially the newbies to go if they want feedback and they're learning kind of the ins and outs. I think it's a great setup for that factor because you're getting live feedback. It's short, right? Like your round is fairly short, so it also teaches you how to be very intentional with your words and what arguments you're going to make. And it's like get to the point very, very quickly. You can't fly a plane around for 30 minutes.
Yeah, Sarah's right about that because even after my debate, first time I ever went on with Grid, yeah, like Anson, and I've always just thought of Anson as like a Coomer Gremlin, but Anson had some pretty good insight about like the the differences between me and I think it was Cleaner that was debating on why he chose. I think Anson chose Cleaner, right? I think he chose
I
Cleaner.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he chose Cleaner, but he explained very specifically on why he chose Cleaner, and Anson was actually pretty detailed on those details on why. So that is a good format, Grid. Like I do like that.
Yeah, it's come a long way. I mean, very quickly, obviously, but it came a long way, and I think it's really one of the critical things is that, and it developed naturally where your competitors give you feedback after your round.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like,
so I got a suggestion though.
Yeah.
Have you thought about putting the all the buy-in stuff, and I know your bot out there does his job with it, but have you thought about putting that in a scroll or something? I mean, it's really easy with your
I don't
software
really
to do that.
I don't really have a way to put that much information in a scroll.
Yeah, you can. You
Well, I
can write
haven't.
a fucking War and Peace novel on a scroll. Like my
I'll see
scrolls
if
are massive.
Yeah, I'll see if I can make that work. So I
Are
have,
you talking about like the different type of buy-ins you can do?
yeah, the menu, yeah.
Oh, the menu. I mean, yeah, I think the mods do a great job with dropping that information. I know even my mods do that. Like you can drop somebody $1 a minute kind of thing. You know, it's very helpful.
Yeah, but if
Uh,
somebody's not watching the chat, if they're just watching the stream,
yeah.
then and they're not, scrolling down or paying attention to the chat, then having that on the screen might provoke those people to actually, click and do something.
And
Well, if they're
donate.
not, yes, I mean, Grid could always like bring up that chat, right? Like bring up what
Yeah.
the mods write in, and that could be that piece. But also, if
That's true
somebody
too.
only watches on the screen and they don't participate in the chat, they're probably not going to send the super chat
Yeah, I was
anyways.
gonna say that too. It doesn't really matter. So, a really quick question, Sarah. How many rules do you have with your debate format? Like, is like as far as kicking out or anything like that? Is there like a big list of rules like VK, or is it
No,
very
it's
simple?
it's it's pretty basic and to the point. Like you can boot, you cannot boot the original panelists. So if a 2v2 comes on, right, for Mod Monday, and then
Mm-hmm.
we merge into open panel, those original 4 panelists cannot be touched because I feel like it's not fair to them. They took time out of their night, and then like you're gonna pay to boot them backstage for 20 minutes,
That makes a
right?
lot of
Like
sense.
that's and that one that rule itself kind of evolved as people started to boot them, and I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. Um,
It used to be that case, and you were like, yeah, doesn't sound right to me, and then you made that rule. So you adjusted to that, right?
we kind of yeah, adjusted as things, because the boots,
Progressed.
yeah, as things started progressing, and then it was like, like would I, if I was invited to be on a show and I devoted 4 hours to doing that show, would I want to spend that time? So of course, now people that jump on open panel, like that's on their own, right? They're
Right.
volunteering to come in. So to me, I'm like, hey, that's fair. The crowd has spoken. um you like they're choosing to be here, and they can also
Right.
choose to leave once they get booted. It's up to them.
That makes
um
sense.
but yeah, so that one kind of evolved, but essentially the rule is, for the chat, you can boot starting at 5 minutes. Like somebody tried doing the 2 minute things, and that like got old within like 30 minutes. And I was like, we're not doing those anymore. Like five and up from going forward. Because the
Right.
2 minutes is just a waste of it. Like I interrupt the panel, I have to boot, and then it's interrupted. But 5 minutes and up. But people can also match to revive, right? So if
Match to
somebody
revive. Okay.
match, they can match the amount to. So if Grid gets booted off panel for $5, somebody else can come in and send a super chat and say, revive Grid, bring him back
But for $5, right?
for
Matching
five
the.
dollars right?
Gotcha.
Now, as the time ticks, like let's say they boot Grid backstage for 20 minutes and he's already been back there for 10 minutes, they'll only have to pay $10 to bring him back up, right? I still honor the dollar a minute protocol,
Okay.
right? So,
Yeah.
but that's, I mean, as far as that goes, that's really the only rule I have as far as like the monetary. And you can time people out in the chat. That one's kind of become a new thing, because the people would get booted off panel, but then they'd still be spurging in the chat. And so people are like, can we boot them in chat too? And I'm like, you know what? You got 5, 10, 30, or an hour or a day. Like,
Very
if,
good
you
move.
know,
Very good move on your part, Sarah,
well,
because
but I merge with what the people
right.
want in that
Right. Yeah.
aspect, right? So
Hmm.
I'm not the one booting people. It's very, very rare that I actually boot somebody off my panel, and it's usually out of disrespect.
Hmm.
And, like proving a point, because that shit's not going to fly. But as far as boot, like, I'm not going to boot somebody just because they have a stupid argument, but the chat can, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I appeal to the chat when somebody's on there talking really dumb, and I'm like, chat, you know what to do, and they do it. So yeah,
I get you. So your rules are very it's not really too many rules. Actually, no, I mean the booting shit, that's about it, to be
yeah,
honest.
yep.
Compared to like VK, VK has like a whole laundry list of engagement rules.
Well,
Um
people still ask for, like, people ask, can I change their name? And I'm like,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
sure.
one that Speakeasy does. Yeah.
Right. Well, and I tell them in chat, like, yeah, sure, whatever. And they're like, well, how much? And I'm like, whatever you want to send. Right. And so I leave it
Mhm.
up to them. Now, if they send $2 and say change their name, I'm not changing their name for very long. Right.
Right.
you're gonna get what you paid for. But if you send in $10, I'll leave it up there, and you know you can own it.
If they send $100 to change the name, you'll probably leave it there for the entire screen. Like,
Well,
okay,
my goodness, yeah, but even
$100 makes sense.
$100, you can boot them off panel for the night. That's another like
Yeah.
because $100 is 100 minutes, and for somebody to actually sit backstage for over an hour
That's
waiting for their
practically
turn to
the
come up, yeah. So it's $100 for the full boot. But we've had people get booted and then people double down to revive. So
Wow.
it gets fun. I mean, but
Mhm.
that's I don't I don't think we should make it too complex. I like Grid's rules because
Simple.
it's creating the show as it moves along, right? So he's not too complex, but it's like you're still letting the people move the show how they want to see it done. And I think that's like sending out that Uno reverse card is fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know me, like Grid is more game showy, mine is more panel chaos, right? And it's
Oh
up
yeah,
to the chat to determine how that chaos continues.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I pardon me. I wanted to make it a kind of a game show, but I also wanted to. I just wanted that 5-minute format of debate. Like I just really think that that's a great format. It gives you a couple of minutes to make your points, go back and forth each, and then it's judgment time.
Yeah.
You know, and some of them have seemed to take a long time for 5 minutes. Like I'm
How are
sitting
they
there.
chosen? How are the two people chosen again?
So the way it works is like if the chat wanted to see Jake and Clover Tack debate, someone in the chat would buy a 1v1 to them. They'd pay $40 and say Jake versus Clover Tack. And
Versus. They could get destroyed. He knows he would.
Well, yeah, I get absolutely demolished because I don't own
Fucking no AR owning.
Yeah,
fool over
AR-15.
there.
Yes, I don't own one, so therefore I get destroyed.
Yeah.
You made
do
that
you
very
at
clear
least
in my
have a
chat.
handgun?
I mean,
I have a
the force
handgun.
doctrine.
Yeah.
Force doctrine kind of proves that, but yeah, okay.
I just have a handgun, Clover. I don't have
Keep coping. Keep coping.
All right.
The handgun's
Exactly.
only to get you to your rifle that you shouldn't have laid down to begin with.
Yep.
Oh gosh. All right.
I'm a girl, and even I knew that.
Look, I'm just here to protect my home. That's it. I got my gun, my handgun. That's what it is, right? You know.
Not gonna be a home if somebody comes in with something bigger.
That's a good point. That is a good point. I'll invest into the AR. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. Cleaner actually is. This is a great description. So more of a skilled debate format. You have to be able to debate any topic, any side, which comes down to pure debate skills and knowledge.
So I had an issue. I tell you where I had kind of an issue.
Oh boy!
As a viewer, right? I don't think it's anything major. I think I don't know. I don't know the solution, but I can offer some ideas because I don't like fucking people that complain and then don't have, ideas for solutions. But I'm gonna throw it out there. Is when you bring up and like, okay, these two people are going to debate, and then it's like, okay, what's the prompt, right? What's the topic? And it takes for fucking ever to figure it out. Like there needs to be like a wheel of death or something, and just spin it, and that's your topic. And like if you don't know it, then fuck it. You better make some shit up because.
Or maybe in order to be a panelist, like you have to contribute one debate prompt before you hop on.
That's a good idea.
Because then you at least know that they'll take on that argument.
We tend to have a list of debate prompts, and so usually it's just finding one that honestly most of the time the debaters are like, yeah, I'll do that, and I'm like, nah, I don't think so, because I can tell when somebody's like gonna phone one in on it, and I'm like, nah, I want good debates, and so far we haven't had any where people have just kind of phoned it in. And so,
but I like that idea.
I'm sorry, Jake.
No, I was gonna say. So I like Sarah's idea about like having them have at least a prompt that they know that they would be comfortable with. That actually sounds pretty doable with panelists. But go ahead, Sarah. Sorry for interrupting.
I mean, like to me, it would be I want the chat to decide who's going to take on the debate, and by that I would have everyone give like one opening statement across the screen and then let the chat decide who's going to 1v1, right? And then you can choose whoever is the strongest in it or who's the goofiest in it or, you know, whatever the case, because then at least you don't have two people who would make the same argument up against each other, right? And then at least the chat is educated on where they stand. So if somebody's like super hyper passionate about it and they come on like Manor Reports and like, oh my God, rah, 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 and that's like their opening statement with the along with the panel, and they're like, oh my God, I got to see Manor do this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It builds up some
So
type of hype as well.
the
Yes.
menu,
Yeah.
the basic menu, there's more to this, but the basic menu is the 1v1's $40, topic selection. If somebody in the chat wants to force the topic, is $40. To assign the position,
20.
or reverse it,
Yeah.
is $20, and it's $5 a minute to extend the debate. And
What
and
if
that's,
nobody? What if nobody pays to have anybody 1v1? Do you press on?
yeah, I just pick. I pick and we go.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, we're not playing that game either. That's another thing that I think all the other shows. The only reason that I honestly the biggest reason that we do the buy-ins and buy the debates and all of that is so that there's the winner gets 10% of the pot of all the super chats that come in.
Well, maybe let them plead their case then, because
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I
they're like,
wanted to win, I would want to try to take on as many debates as possible, which means I need to convince the audience that I'm the horse you want to pick in this race,
yeah.
right? So
So, well,
maybe
it's
have them all start giving their opening statements and going at it, and then as that starts to ensue, then that $40 is going to come in, and they're going to pick, you
Yeah.
know, oh my
There's more
God,
insinuation, like more pot at the end of the road for it. Yeah.
just
mhm.
just like
But
setting
so
up the
but it's
speed dates. Like when I put people in speed date mode, it's because they already are starting to grumble on screen, right? And I'm
Speed
like,
date, you mean
oh,
like when you do one-on-ones, right? On your
when I
panel?
when I kind of like just remove everybody else on panel
Gotcha.
quietly and just leave it down to them too. We call them the speed dates from hell.
Gotcha.
And I mean, that just happens naturally, right? And some people end up paying. They're like, speed date such and such, and we do it. But sometimes it just happens naturally, based on their responses to kind of a thought process being thrown out there, and it just kind of like,
yeah.
that's going to be beautiful. Let me just remove everybody else so we're not interrupted.
Yeah.
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 Kissy Cat sent in $5 to say that she just pays to make them debate something, and that's true. And then Cleaner reminds us that you can use nothing but sophistry and pure debate skills and win with 100% lies. He has done it a few times, which Anson points out. I also point that out all the time. It has nothing to do with being right. It has nothing to do with having your facts straight. It has everything to do with making a great argument.
The rhetoric. Yeah.
And yeah, to some degree, the rhetoric, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's but really what I'm hoping will happen as we kind of build this is the competitors themselves, once they believe that they're going to get paid, right? That's the first thing, is they will then bring, I tell everybody, hey, bring all your buddies and tell them bring their wallets, because the more donos we get in, and even just to say, hey, Jake's hair looks funny tonight, that all goes into the pot. And at the end of the night, the winner takes, 10%, so, if you want to make some money, make all your friends spend theirs.
Yeah. Yeah.
and, and so it's kind of, the chat moves and stuff is just, very, it's kind of an interesting thing. The reason I don't have a million menu items like some other shows is I want the show to flow smoothly. I want it to be about the debates, and I want it to end at a reasonable time. So we start the show at 8, and we've got it down now to where we're ending right around midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and
That's
that is
nice.
fantastic. right? Now, am I making as much money as I could if I, structured it a different way? Probably not. I don't. But the money at this point is secondary.
Yeah.
The quality of the product is primary. And
I will tell you this, Grid, like with a smaller amount of hours within the debate format, I could see myself like watching the entire thing to a degree, like especially if I'm at work. And I'll say this with SARS panels, the Raging Tomato, that shit I've seen it go on for like 6-7 hours on some of her panels. Um, and I'm like, I'll watch like maybe an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours or so, but it's like I can't get through the entire 6 hours of that. I usually prioritize the actual debate, and then the open panels I can kind of like skip, you know. But I do enjoy the panelists that she brings on there. So that's kind of like my main focus with the Raging Tomato, you know. But
Yeah, we even that's why I started splitting the show up between Tomato and Gauntlet to redirect the panel over to Gauntlet, and that way, that is taking on the extra 4 hours, and then the debate itself can just be the standard 2.5.
Gauntlet, that's the new channel. Is that the new channel that you made, right? I think I
Mm-hmm.
remember that. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
It's like
Yeah,
the
Yep.
that
fourth one. There was the drinking. What was the drinking channel called? It was um,
The sip and stream.
Sip and Stream.
Well, that was all on Tomato. 'Cause Tomato, like basically what I did with Tomato is I tried 4 different scenarios and
Sleepy
with
Tomato. That was the one. Sleepy Tomato.
Sleepy Tomato. I did actually, Gauntlet is the original Sleepy Tomato. I just rebranded it so that nobody had to go find a new, like most people were already subscribed.
So the
Uh,
Gauntlet, your channel, the Gauntlet, is that just for the open panel stuff that you just shoot it
Yeah,
out?
that'll be panel verse oriented, and then Raging Tomato is strictly debate format. And as people, this way, because think about it, if you come across you exactly just said it, like, yeah, I'm not going to sit and watch a whole 4 or 6 hours
Yeah,
of it,
yeah, yeah.
right? So
Right.
basically it condenses the video and it condenses the time frame so that when people come across the video, like new people who don't know the format and how we operate, they're not looking at it and they're like, this is a 6 hour debate, why, like, I'm not gonna try to commit to that, right? So
Right.
they don't even click the button because it seems overwhelming on the surface level. So cutting it down to where it's like sits around 2 hours, that's more reasonable for somebody to be like, oh, I could watch this on 2x
Yeah.
speed and get through it in an hour, or I'll watch it while I'm on my way to work, or whatever the case may be. So it makes it more appealing to a click. And then the extra time, the panel, the gauntlet for like the panel verse, I don't care how long that goes. I don't care. There's no
Time limit. Yeah.
yeah, like
Hmm.
like the panelverse people are used to 11-hour videos, right?
Yeah.
And we all know that panelverse kind of content is you either catch it live or you don't.
Or you don't. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no like like replay gang coming in.
And by the way, I think you might agree with me that it's way more fun to watch it live than it is on a replay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
because you're
You know,
involved in the chat.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sarah, that's actually a really good point because I noticed that when I went to the 3 hour format, like I do,
Hmm.
this show is 8 to 11.
Hmm.
When I went to the 3 hour format, I have almost as many or more. Well, I have way more watch hours on replay than I do people watching it live.
Hmm.
Really?
Like a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, it's really the goal is for finding new people, right? I mean, people who know my show, they already are familiar with the format. They're familiar how we operate. They're going to watch the debate. Even if that number says it's a 6 hour video, and they
They're
already know
invested.
how
Yeah.
they're
They're
they're gonna
invested.
like, oh, yeah, they're like, I'm gonna go watch it anyways. And if I stay, if I if I continue watching after the debate ends, then that's up to them. But for new people, and that's the goal, is to try to find people who aren't subscribed, who aren't familiar, and they see the thumbnail and they take interest and they're like, oh, what is this? So that's kind of like the goal there. And then and I think panel verse and debates need separation. I happen to kind of fit the package for both based on how the format is, you know what I mean? But there are people that like to watch debates and there are people that like to watch panel verse stuff, and then there is an overlap between the two of them.
Yeah.
So, I need to separate it. And even on the gauntlet, like after a week, I'm sending the videos back to the membership paywall because you're not getting reclickability later.
Let
You
me
know.
ask, Sarah, have you considered doing clips on your? Well, I know you're busy, but like I'm pretty sure you would probably consider
Uh,
having a clips guy to
I'm
clip
gonna
out some of your
I'm gonna
debates.
ask Sarah about that in just a minute because
Okay.
she talked about it the other night on her show. But let me
Oh.
answer Kissy Cat first.
Mhm.
Have I considered allowing 2v2 the chat to buy 2v2s team style and judges choose the best two? I have, but the problem is that the only reason that that I can see for a 2v2, like I know VK does that. The only reason I see for that, to be honest, is if people just are not participating, and you have no choice but to participate in my panel, right? Because we only allow X number of people up. You can't rotate. We're not, we're ours. The way this works, it just drives so cleanly to an end that I don't. I did consider it, but I'm not sure that it works for the format. Plus, in a 5-minute format, it's gonna be tough to get 4 people to actually have an argument. Now that is something we could do like on a special, or like somebody could pay for at the end of the night. Like last night we went a little longer because because at the very beginning of the night, Glenn paid for a final boss battle with whoever won versus Anson, right?
Nice.
Yeah,
And
it's pretty interesting. A
that's
boss battle,
legit,
dude.
right?
A
That's
boss battle.
legit. And so that was awesome. And I would do something like, I think we could do that, right? Like we could do that if you wanted to see like Clover and Jake versus Kissy Cat and Smoking Spaceman.
Right.
Yeah, we could do that. But we would buy it up at the beginning of the night or something, and it would be at the end of the once we had a winner, then we could be like, okay, now we're going to get these guys in there.
You should turn it into like the boss level would be not just Anson, but all of the judges.
All of the
Because you have
judges.
3 judges, right?
We
And
do,
then
yeah.
those 3 against whoever won, then that would and then you allow the winner to choose who they want on their team. That way they feel somewhat
Yeah.
fair. That would be fun. Boss level. I like it. I love
Yeah.
it.
To have the
Yeah, we may
bosses
have. I
there,
got
or the
to. I'm
judges.
going to think
Yeah.
about that. I'm
And
going
then
to give
and
them
then
the
it's
option.
optional, right? Like it's not
Yeah, it's an
standard, but
optional deal.
if the chat wants it,
Mhm.
they can buy it, and then it's like going into overtime.
So right now, I think the idea of the way VK operates by doing a bunch of weird chat moves like changing names, weird noises, showing a video, all this kind of
Clipaways.
nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Um, that's cool. I'm not running a circus show. I'm running a debate. So this is I'm keeping it as clean as I can, and so I don't have any interest in that. But one of the things I am struggling with is what we can do to push some value to the chat so that they increase the level of donos coming in. And I haven't figured that out yet, but we will. Like I said, the show's still really new. You understand? We've only done like 4 or 5 of them.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like it's still really new. I'm still figuring it out. We got a
It'll
lot.
naturally evolve as you figure
Yeah,
it
I think
out.
so.
I mean, the people still pay for the horse video, right, on mine, but it's not like standard. It's and that's not like something that's standard that I threw out there. It just kind of
Yeah.
started happening naturally, and I'm like, all right. I mean, if you paid for it, because like mine's people run. You know, like
Yeah.
well, at least once we go into open panel, right? The first
Right.
portion is very formatted and structured,
Mhm.
and we don't mess around with any of the circus level stuff. And then of course it goes into open panel dumpster fire, and that's where the chat can have its fun.
Can I also say something when it comes
Yeah.
to Sarah's channel? She actually has a niche with her channel. The niche is debates. And I'm just saying this because I haven't really seen too much of Sarah going online talking about politics or talking about like where she's kind of just talking on her own. Her niche is getting people on, doing a producer format, and bringing people on for entertainment purposes. Like she has a niche there. With my channel or even Grid, our channels are more of like, well, we'll have like chill streams, we'll have a bunch of different types of varieties of things. But I think Sarah has really embedded on a particular niche, which
Fuck,
is
dude, you're gonna have to
bringing
get
in,
Sarah's name right. Come on, man.
I know.
which is
He always
Sarah.
fucks it up.
You're aggravating your fellow Texan.
So again,
Call her,
Sarah.
call
Look,
her tomato or something if you can't fucking
so
Yeah,
get it,
again,
Jake. Come
no, he
on.
probably is
so
gonna
again,
fuck up tomato
Jesus.
too.
so
How do you
now-
say
so-
tomato,
so-
Jake?
You do it one more
That's how
time,
I
and
say
I'm
it.
Oh,
reaching.
okay.
I'm
Just go
reaching
by
through
tomato.
So
Just
I'm
say
so
tomato.
reaching.
so really
You're
quick
close.
again.
You're close enough. I will drive by. I will. I will.
So really quick again, Sarah, I'm going to say that again. Sarah has a really good niche on her channel to where it's debate format here. Sarah has a really good channel on her on a niche there, which is very different there because Sarah, her audience knows what to expect, right? It's very formatted, and I think she does a really good job on that particular niche. I think it's a really good idea. I think this is why Sarah, I'm going to say that again, on why she would go into a different format of channels to where she's separating that type of niche with that. So I am saying like, yeah, Sarah again. Does a
Jake's
really
now
good,
dedicated to
really
this
good.
particular
I'm very
troll.
dedicated now that Clover
In
Tack,
about
who should have
in
been my
about
buddy because we're both Texans.
in about 10 hours, Jake's gonna hear "send it." That'll be the last fucking words you hear. You just wait. Just wait.
Clover Tack's on his way right now. He's getting in his tank. He's on his way.
Hey guys, SARA.
I'm in the car with the
Sarah.
motor running.
Sarah.
He's gonna show you what that
Dang.
AR-15 really does.
Now I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this,
That's
Tomato.
funny.
I'm the only one that calls you Sarah, so you should feel special here because people give me shit on
No,
this all the time.
no,
And
it's
I will
retarded.
still,
It's absolutely retarded.
I will
My
still double
parents
down on that shit.
would be so disappointed that you fuck up a 4-letter name.
SARA, Sarah.
I'm gonna call you Jockey.
Jockey.
That doesn't even
That's
make sense on a
funny.
pronunciation format
Jake's
here.
got-
Oh, Jake, let me ask you this.
You
Like,
just put one of the little squiggly marks over the E, and it would
Oh,
be
the Mexican.
Jockey, right?
Call him
What a
Jack.
racist. What a racist.
Jockey.
Jockey.
Jock.
Anyways, but yeah, I was just trying to fucking say Sarah the Raging Tomato has a really good format there. She has a really good niche on what she's doing. But it's a little bit different between my channel and Grids, etc. So I'm just saying this. I'm just saying I think Sarah has a really good niche on what she's doing there. It's very micromanaged to the degree on that. So I'm just giving you a compliment here. All
No,
right?
I appreciate it. No,
Yeah.
and I think you kind of nailed it because I spent my time in the panel verse, right? I spent my time going on everybody else's shows for what, 2 years before I started my own. So
Really?
I'm already networked out across the board in very many different groups of people.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And yeah. So like when you said like Sarah doesn't go around talking about politics or this or that, like
This
I
one's
already
got a
did.
TTS, guys.
Oh, sorry.
K Squared Keep on Trucking
Wait,
donated
what was the issue that
$10
she said
super
here?
chat. Wanted you guys'
No,
opinion
he said
is holding
TTS,
hands key.
not TOS.
Oh,
Yeah, you guys can't hear the TTS because you're on the panel,
Right.
if you were listening on YouTube, you would have heard hit the very, very, very interesting British lady say, $10 from K2 Keep On Trucking. Wanted, you guys' opinion is holding hands gay.
I don't
I'm
even know what that
assuming
means.
if you're talking about two dudes, it's not gay, but it's questionable.
You know what's gay, Grid?
What's that?
You have TTS come through, but then you read the super chat on your own.
Well, I did that because they were still talking over it, so I didn't want to. I can re-trigger it, but I like to. I like.
But also, us as the panelists, we can't hear it, so
So
we don't know.
well,
if comes in.
it used to pop up on Grid's screen, and at least you knew if you were looking.
It
that,
does
Right.
still pop
oh,
up on my
shit,
screen.
I never
I don't
seen
see
it.
it.
I didn't see it either.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that's
I'm
why
very-
I said I wouldn't have said nothing if it was.
But I
'cause
think
you get used to it.
you always end up reading it anyways because we always end up talking over it because we don't know what's coming through. So you might
Yeah,
as well just read the damn thing yourself.
I'll have to figure that out. So Abe was saying that let the TTS flow. Yeah, that's actually a really good way. That's a really good thing during the debates. Is that when the TTS starts flying? That's hilarious. So
But
then we got Kissy
like-
Cat coming through.
Like, oh, sorry.
Now this one, well, not TTS because only $5. But from Kissy Cat, no K2. It's gay to request the fireman video on Sarah's channel.
I don't even know what that means. I have
That's
no idea.
okay. So we've got
dude. No.
The fireman channel.
I have
That just sounds weird.
I have like thirst trap videos that I play, especially particularly when the men
Thirst trap, dude.
when the men start getting loud and interrupting each other. I play like the sexy lady getting off the horse, or the one girl shaking her butt, or the ballerinas that are half naked.
Okay.
But then for the ladies, I made one video for the ladies, and it's these sexy, hot, drooling firemen. And I usually like to play that one when the dudes are being gay, and I play that one to interrupt them. And then I'm like, if you don't stop being gay, like I'm just gonna keep playing the firemen, and that's enough of a threat, right? But
Yeah.
the thirst trap with the ladies obviously gets the guys, like, it gets their attention, and but so now Kissy Cat and K2 Keep On Trucking shoot super chats out like, oh, K2 Keep On Trucking would really like the fireman video, and then Kissy Cat will send money, and she'll say K2 Keep On Trucking would really like to watch this, and K2 will send it back, oh, Kissy Cat would really want to watch this. And so I honor their super chat, and I play the video on demand for them. But
That's hilarious.
but it gets fun because they shoot them back and forth,
yeah.
and it gets comical. So
that actually leads us into the video editing thing, because you said something the other night,
mhm.
and I was like, hey, I want to talk to you about that because I'm in that same boat.
Yeah. So
I've actually been looking for somebody. I've been looking for a video editor for probably 4 to 5 months, and just because I lack the ability to do clips, period. And
Clip.
I don't really have time to do. I've tried to do some video asset work, but I just can't. I just can't do it.
Yeah,
Opus
I-
clips the AI, and it's pretty decent at breaking stuff down.
That still takes work from an
yeah,
individual, even
it's
with AI.
time.
Yeah,
it's
it's
time.
time.
I mean, it
Time is
does,
the
yeah.
factor.
Yeah.
I want to relaunch all of my debates in a clean version, which means I want to take
Yeah.
all of my starting from like my first mod, like I start them at the sperm donor tour mod Monday that we did. Andrew was on that one.
Oh, I saw
And-
that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good one. But I
It was
want
good.
to be able to go back and cut all of them down to just the debate, right? Cut off the open panel, edit all the cuss words out because your ad revenue will be better.
Yeah.
and relaunch all of them to have like a nice clean version. And I need somebody to go and catch me up because I sat down and tried doing the sperm tour, and because Andrew cusses every 2 minutes,
Mhm.
it's a lot of work to cut those. I think there's an AI tool that'll do that, but you also
There is.
are looking for TOS that
Yeah.
AI may not know, even the roundabout kind of conversations or essay, like
Yeah,
words
it's
like
better to
that.
have a real person actually do it than AI. Like, to be perfectly
Exactly.
honest,
You
yeah,
could put
that
you
is
could
true.
put the words for the AIs that dub that out or whatever. You could put the you can add words to the list.
Yeah, I just don't. It's still time. Okay, number one, it's still time consuming, right? And that's I
Oh,
have
definitely.
my 9 to 5. My daughter is a very avid athlete that is incredibly busy, and I have to drive her all over God's green earth. Like today, we spent our whole day out in the middle of fucking nowhere, Pennsylvania, for some big college thing.
Mm.
And it's like it's incredibly time consuming to
Yep.
sit down. And I sit down at my desk all day. I sit down at
Well,
my desk all night. The last thing I want to do on a
the
Sunday
question
afternoon is sit down at my desk.
the question is at the end of the day, is it worth it? And
I
so
think it is.
if you do that, you're gonna have to get thousands of views on those in order for the
Yeah, but
Well,
ad
that takes
it
revenue to
time, right?
really be
But I
anything.
think
yeah, it's
Sarah,
going to take time for that to pick up,
And
but I
then
inevitably I want somebody to sit down and catch me up to current day debate, like
yeah,
current day live stream, and then this way, once the debate is done, I can close it out, right? Paywall it and I can paywall everything, right? And then let my editor the next day take it, clean it up, relaunch it, and now you're revitalizing the
right?
the stream once again.
And Sarah, just to give you a lot more clarification here, is that you've had Andrew on your panel. I mean, I don't know, countless times, like a
Mhm.
good amount here. You have a plenty of material of
Oh yeah.
debaters here that people will be interested in watching. If you cut that down and repost that stuff, you're gonna get tens of thousands of views on those things. I don't know why you haven't done it because I've seen your channel. You don't
It's just
repost
time.
the.
It's just
Yeah, it's
time.
time and totally understandable. But that is something that you definitely should reconsider because, especially because you have Andrew on there, you have had Jake Rattlesnake, you've had Alex, like some notable people, especially Andrew. That's something that you definitely should take advantage of, and you're gonna
Mhm.
get massive amount of views as far as outside of the live stuff.
Right.
So that's definitely something and it's good that you're aware of that. So yeah, sorry, like you have everything there at this point
Yeah,
from your
for
hard work.
sure. And now I've been pushing doing my own small clips from my phone, which is
Mhm.
really easy to do. Like if I like the other night, Thursday night, we had a fun little like triple speed date between it was who was it? It was oh my god, who was it? Was Jason Mirachuk, whatever it is.
I have no
Jason
idea.
Lumberjack and Ryan Radical Coder, and the three of them were just at each other's throats. And I'm like, that is a clip. And
Yeah.
that I can just simply, while I'm, at work, I could sit there, screen record, and it only takes me like 10 minutes to throw it into the editor on my phone. Put it, I already have a template built out, and it's like, it's short and sweet and very easy to do. And then I throw that into like either Twitter or Instagram, right?
Right.
And that's like feeding the social media networks, and hopefully that will pick up like my focus on the very minimal time I do have, is to try to push the other social media outlets right now.
Hmm.
In the meantime, until I get an editor to do the other stuff. And
Gotcha.
I think my problem is a lot of people say, get somebody in the space. There's so many people out here that'll do it for you. And yet, but I don't want to. I've already had that issue where I worked with people that I, know from the space, and we all saw how that blew up in my face. So I just don't want to like shit where I sleep kind of thing. So I'd rather hire outward somebody who is not in the space, somebody who's not part of this package, and they're completely separate from this
Where,
world. And
where,
this
where,
is
okay, where would you find that though? Like I'm just saying,
I
like,
actually called a friend of mine who is in the like acting media business, and talked to him and said, like, is this even possible? Do you know? And he's like, I absolutely know somebody who does it, like, top tier. So
hmm
even if they're not willing to pick it up, they will know of people who are. I would prefer somebody who wants to build their portfolio, quite frankly.
hmm
So somebody that's still in amateur mode, then that way it gives them an opportunity. Because it's pretty easy with what I'm working with, right? They're not creating anything new.
right,
Um,
right, right.
they just got to know, like, cuss words, TOS, and here's the template that I want. It's pretty cut and dry. Like, they're not having to be creative with it. But he said that, I just need to shoot the email of my specs, and that will be forwarded on, and then
Yeah,
hopefully,
for sure.
somebody will come from that.
Yeah, definitely.
Wondered if there's some college students or something
That's
somewhere. Is what I
that's
was wondering.
exactly what I said. I would be okay if it's like a college student. And I was even tempted to go email like the media people at the local community college here, maybe too. That way I'm working with somebody local. But I mean, and there's so many people getting into social media nowadays, and so many people getting into editing and stuff like that, because it's a big thing.
hmm
So I feel like it should be easy to find someone like within my price range, what I'm looking for, and like who can understand exactly what I need.
Sorry, if you're going to be hiring, like, especially somebody local or somebody that's kind of like rising into that editing space, I don't think the price would be that expensive.
Hmm.
If you guarantee him $500 a month, would
Hmm.
that be worth the editing? I perhaps
Well,
so.
and I think it also depends on how many debates I have that month too, because like I
I
always
You
do
do it
mod.
very often though,
Yeah, I always do mod Monday, and I always do Throwdown Thursday. So that's guaranteed two. I don't even know if Throwdown Thursday needs one
yeah, but
because
also, sorry, you realize you have a back catalog of Andrew Wilson and plenty of other debaters that they could work on while you're doing new
yeah,
material. You
yeah.
know?
And then the 1v1s, I officially, the way I structured my channel now, because once we hit 5K, I was like, that's it. It's official. We're only going to be a debate platform. No more sipping streams. No more this. Like, I might do a chill stream every once on a blue moon, but
hmm
um like I just knocked everything else out, right? It obviously the debate thing's working. So um kind of once that happened, I always do 2v2 on Mondays. I always do Throwdown Thursday on Thursdays. And then anybody that says, hey, I want a one-on-one, I'm only offering them Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Friday, Saturday.
Because
Yeah.
like I'm not, I was for a little bit kind of throwing them like, well, it's either Monday, Thursday, or the weekend. But now it's like, no, like I'm booked out. Like I'm staying booked out a month in advance almost. So like these are your only options if you want to get it in and it's just continuing like that. So
That sounds like a really good problem to have though, right, Sarah?
yeah, I'm not
Like,
complaining. I'm not
yeah,
complaining.
yeah, that's really good. Really good.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know.
so it makes it nice. And I mean, I know people like to strike while the iron's hot. Like, well, I want this debate now. It's like, well, look, like I'm booked out.
Yeah.
If you want me to do this, you got to work with what I got too. And I'm happy to. Like Andrew pulled one where he's like, no, I want to do it tonight, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna be really tired,
Yeah,
so
but
we're gonna
he's the
make this
exception to the rule, right? Like,
right. Yeah,
yeah,
like I'm
exactly.
not stupid.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say if it's Andrew Wilson, if it's Jay Dyer, if it's Michael Knowles that comes up to you say
Right.
tonight, Sarah, you will say,
Right.
"Yeah, I'll make it happen." Yeah, of course.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I now one thing I won't do, and that's out of respect to my tried and true panelists. If I already have something scheduled, I'm not booting it just to accommodate somebody else. Like that's not fair,
hmm
right? And I think that that's where my niche, kind of the foundation lies. Is I respect all of my panelists that come on, unless you're like really freaking stupid and you tag me on X and expect me to come like pull Andrew out for stupid shit, Mr. Michael, you retard.
Okay, I don't know
But
what you're talking about, but
yeah, no,
okay.
it just fucking annoyed me because he like tagged me later and was like, are you gonna call out Andrew for fraud in this? And I'm like, this is not the fucking entry. Like, but
Wait,
he had
who are
already
you
been a
talking?
panelist. He
Wait,
had
who
already
are
been a
you talking about?
panelist. He debated Jim Bob tonight, but they had debated on my channel recently,
Okay.
and he like went on an expert. I was telling Grit about this earlier. He went on like an expert with Andrew, and then like tagged me and Jim Bob and expected us to come and be like, "Oh my God, you're so right, Michael. Andrew's such a fraud." Whoa.
Oh
Like,
God.
and it just
One of
was
those.
annoying. And I'm like, are you asking me to come and be unbiased and not maintain my neutrality? Like, I maintain my neutrality with people across the board on in chats, in X, in Insta, like everywhere. I'm very neutralized with them on how I interact with them outside of the debate. Right.
Right.
And that's
Okay.
that, like, I respect all of them. I don't care if you're left or right. I'm still respectful, doesn't matter. And I think that that's why people still come back for more. Like, you may have lost the debate or you may have like got a shitty hand when you were on panel, but I am still respectful to you nonetheless. um and so like when people like, I don't know it, I don't even remember why
So
I said
so
that,
so
but
you're telling me that this Mike guy was trying to convince you to be by or talk shit about Andrew. He was saying that Andrew's a fraud and wanted
mhm.
you and Jim Bob to
He wanted us to
contort
come
to
call
his.
him out because he was trying to make an argument, and Andrew was like responding to the thread.
Uh-huh.
But he was, of course, trying to get to the bottom of it. He's like, all right, well, can you tell me what objectivism is or whatever, or something like that? And the guy
Right.
wouldn't answer the question. And Andrew's like, okay, well, if you're not going to answer, then have a good day. And then that's when Michael tagged me and Jim Bomb. And he's like, don't you see this? Like, he's like, I think he said like he's rage quitting or something. And I'm like, you're not even in a fucking, like, he tried to engage. But I
Yeah.
was just irritated that he even would even expect me to come in and just take his side. And I'm like, that's not what I do. I am not your 24/7 moderator. Like, this is not how this works. And that really irritated me
Mm-hmm.
because you're expecting me to pin up against another person who's been on my show, especially Andrew, right? Like,
Of
again,
course.
we're
Yeah.
all not stupid, right? But it wouldn't have mattered which panelist it was. Like, I'm not, and somebody else did that to me with Misfit Patriot. They came on and they like tagged me and they're like, this is the person you put on your show. How dare you? He's a this, he's a that. I'm like, why would you do this? Like, are you expecting me to come in and be like, yes, Misfit Patriot's a piece of shit? Like, no,
Yeah.
because I don't care. I don't care what these people do outside of my show.
Right.
I just
No,
don't.
no kidding, Sarah. Okay, so you gotta kind of have a little bit of drama on the X platform of things. All right.
Right.
Well, you
And
know what?
normally I don't entertain that stuff.
Right,
But
but
if you're going to be a little bitch and be like, look, Sarah, come here, look at what Andrew's doing. Like, no, now you done fucked up.
same thing with Patriot. If somebody's talking shit on him, it's like, dude, it's none of my fucking business. If you guys want to settle it, we can settle it within a debate format, and that's it, right?
Hmm.
You're not there to kind of get involved within
Exactly. And
the mi- yeah.
that's where usually people do tag me. They'll tag me and they'll say, like, they'll get in an argument with someone and they're like, fine, you want to debate? Yeah, let's debate. Okay, Sarah, can you put this together? And I'm like, hey,
Right.
happy to do it. And I don't get involved in their argument. Nobody expects me to take a side. They just say, can you set this up? And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then we go
Yeah.
from there. And that's
Gotcha.
where I'm a happy camper. But you're not going to like call me in and expect me to just be like, yeah, you're so right. Let me just come in and take your side. Like, this random dude who's been on my panel once and it was a crybaby the whole fucking time, who tried to rage quit the debate before the debate even, like, now I'll just call you out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, well, I've definitely noticed that you do have a particular neutral respect between the left and the right to a degree.
Mhm.
And I'll even give you some props here. Is that you don't necessarily show what side of the aisle that you're on. Which, by the way, you could be left or right. I would say that you have some feminist ideologies in some of your takes here. But I think you've kind of dabbled into the right wing. I think you know what's up. Like I think you're willing to call out, especially woke leftists that come onto your panel, especially with the Teriak debate. That one was
This is
fucking
what cracks
wild.
me up, Jake. I am actually more right leaning than you'd ever imagine, but you don't
Perhaps
know
so.
that
Perhaps so.
because I do that on purpose.
Okay, perhaps so. Yeah, well, that was my claim here, is that it's something that you can kind of judge on your own. Now, from my perspective, it is what it is. But I am just saying this. I think this is what kind of appeals to your like your neutralism when it comes to people coming onto your panel. That's something that has to do with your niche, right? So that's something that I've noticed, and I'll give you respect on that, Sarah. So I'll
Why are you
Okay.
sucking so much dick tonight, Jake?
there's no dick that I'm sucking.
I'm
So
just giving you
I don't
shit.
know what
I'm
the
just
fuck
giving
you're
you
talking
shit.
about here. All
I'm
right?
just giving you shit. My goodness.
Fair enough. Look, I'll give you where respect is due of what I've seen with you. All right, fair enough on that. But that's all it is. Sorry. All right, and very nice of you to answer my questions of how you run your channel, etc. So definitely a lot of insight there. Sorry. So appreciate it. And I think it's very eye opening, especially with like Grid One, especially he's doing his debate panels and stuff like that. It's very
Yeah.
eye opening that we can look back and kind of see what Sarah's done, kind of base our stuff off of the things that you've done.
Yeah, I think if anybody can take that information and use it to create their own thing, more power to them. I mean, you know what, my biggest thing, and somebody actually told me this the other day, and I like wanted to break out into tears because they said it, and I was like, oh my god, it's so sweet. But uh like somebody told me that my show, it's not really just for me, right? Everybody is growing and gaining something from coming on as a panelist. They're kind of earning their credentials there, especially the newbies, and we're all kind of growing together. And I kind of force that. Um, like, it's just kind of, it forces the hand to come on and do your time and gain something from it. Um, and be like, the way it's set up, it allows so many people to network. My favorite thing I'd say is when people come on and then they start talking to somebody that they've never met before. And then by the end of the show, they're like, I'd really like to have you on and do. And then next thing I know, I see them doing a show together and they're collaborating and they're like holding hands and, walking forward. And I'm like, oh my God, I did that.
Whole lot of dick sucking going on there, and that's what you did right there. You got a whole
Exactly.
lot of dick sucking there.
But I think to me, because that's where, you mentioned kind of like the niche kind of thing, and
Yeah.
that's my niche, is the network.
Right.
And I've kind of created myself to be at the center of a spider web that is, growing and growing and growing. I even really love it when people reach out to me and they say, hey, can you connect me with such and such? I'd like to have them on for something. Or, hey, I'm trying to put together a debate. Who would you recommend to sit on this side for this prompt? And that makes me feel good because it's like I'm the I'm the YouTube Rolodex now, or at
Yeah.
least becoming one. And that's like, I'll never hold anybody back. I hope people grow. I hope people get bigger than me. I hope people have something to gain from all of this.
Right.
And because if we're not all moving forward together, then nobody's moving forward at all.
Fair enough, Sarah. Fair enough. This is why, like, I'm asking questions about like your kind of development within the space, and it's really good information on not only just myself, Grid One, Clover. It's just a matter of like navigating the space. So, very insightful. So appreciate that. I'm not sucking your dick, by the way. Definitely not. Never will do that, by the way. But I'm just trying to have a
Well,
conversation.
I
here,
don't have one, so you're good.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. We
Yeah.
want to get the. Yeah. Go ahead, Grid, before I get a little too.
Well, actually, I'm over time. I wasn't going to say anything. You guys were having so much fun.
Yeah.
But it's time for me to call it a night, go to bed, so I can get up and go fishing in the morning.
For sure,
Um,
Grid.
So I just got off of one boat. I'm going to go. I got my boat ready, and we're assuming the batteries take a charge. I haven't charged them since last year, so we'll see if they take a charge. Then we'll go first thing in the morning, and if not, then I'll go tomorrow afternoon after I go replace batteries. But at any rate, Man, it was great to have everybody up. Sorry you didn't get to talk more, Clover. I do want to do a show with you, probably maybe Monday afternoon or Wednesday evening on the short act and the
Yeah. HPA.
and the HPA. Yeah,
Yeah, we need to. Should.
because
Yeah.
it's important stuff, and I want to do that. So I don't know what your schedule is. You can just throw me something to discuss something.
Both evenings, those should be good. Shouldn't be a
Well,
problem.
it'd be in the afternoon on it'd be
Either
at
way.
noon actually on Monday. So
What do you mean? Oh, you talking about doing it early?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'd probably do that too.
All right.
What
Well,
I'm
we'll
saying
set
is
it up.
Mondays and Wednesdays are typically not overwhelming.
Okay. All right. Cool. And Jake, it was good to see you again.
Of course.
And as always, it's been a cool week for me. Even though I was sick, being able to get onto some panels and talk to people. And Sarah, I'm actually looking for a video editor, not just for shorts or editing out language and stuff. But my wife keeps trying to push me to doing offshore stuff. We have a virtual assistant that helps us with one of our real estate things, and once we've got them kind of trained, I guess you would say, and they handle all the phone calls, all of they follow up on all of it, and it's like pennies on the dollar for what I would pay an actual office girl for, which I don't need an office girl. I need somebody like 3 times a week or something, for a couple of hours. Nobody would do that, but this person does. So, but anyway, I don't know. I've got to get a video editor though. That's for sure. Cause I can't do it. I suck at it. I'm very bad. So, but at any rate, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of night. It is done. I am cooked. We are over. I am going to hit the button in just a minute. I'm going to punch out and send you guys over to watch Rob Noor, be Rob Noor, because that guy's cool.
That's my boy.
And you guys have a great rest of your evening. And as always, be cool. Wear glasses if you need them. And get off my lawn.